Crossing and devouring the starry sky to become Wei Wen, Wei Wen intends to blend in with the original work and become immortal. But there seems to be something wrong. He actually possesses the bloodline of the Bra tribe, becoming the first Bra tribe person in the primitive universe. Thinking about the special abilities of the Bula tribe, Wei Wen was thrilled to discover that it seemed like a clone that could be used as a doll or a clone. In addition, he actually has two innate secrets: treasure hunt and analysis space. Friend Luo Feng, do not seize opportunities. Please rest assured to read keywords of the novel. Bula Clan of Swallowing the Starry Sky. No pop-ups. Bula Clan of Swallowing the Starry Sky complete collection download. Bula Clan of Swallowing the Starry Sky latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. Wei Script of the Bula Ethnic Group. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Wei Script of the Bula Ethnic Group. The sky is deep blue, with fireballs hanging high. Ian District 3rd High School. Ding ding ding. As the loud bell rang throughout the entire campus, there was suddenly a commotion, and a large number of students flooded out of each teaching building, walking towards the school gate in groups of 3 or 5, chatting and laughing. A young man wearing a regular blue sportswear, about 1.75 meters tall, appears relatively thin, holding a book, and walking with a young man wearing a black sportswear. The young man in black sportswear was walking while looking at the nearby beauties, causing many female classmates to shy away. "Alvin, don't look, restrain yourself," said the blue sportswear boy helplessly. "What's wrong with liking to look at beautiful women?" The black sportswear boy's gaze is unbridled, especially liking to linger on girls with broad-mindedness. Undoubtedly, it is a world where one can get married at the age of 18 after graduating from high school. Many girls start dressing up early, which not only has youthful vitality but also mature charm, making people feel happy when they see it. "Senior brother Luo Feng, senior brother Luo Feng." A thick voice rang out. "Ah Feng, someone called you." Wei Wen in black turned his head and saw that the person calling Luo Feng was a boy, about 1.9 meters tall, with a tiger back and a bare waist, and surprisingly thick arms. Wei Wen was secretly excited and came. "Oh, it's like this. Alright, this Sunday afternoon, when you're at the martial arts school, come find me." As Luo Feng spoke, Wei Wen also silently recited in his heart. For Wei Wen, who has watched Swallowing the Starry Sky and traveled through it, the opening scene of the plot is a long-awaited one. Often, tsk, when the big guy who asked you to guide him to punch hard left just now, he was still praising you with his classmates. Wei Wen couldn't help but laugh and walked along with Luo Feng towards the entrance of 3rd High School. "Praise you for being good, praise you for speaking well." Luo Feng smiled and said, "Why, Wei Wen, are you jealous?" "Jealous of you?" Wei Wen rubbed his nose and chuckled, "Dream it, I'm not inferior to you. I'm also a senior student of the martial arts school. After you became famous, you picked 5 out of 5, and 5 senior students couldn't get up. Well, demon god, tsk, your violent fighting appearance has scared too many people." Luo Feng smiled and said that the battle was indeed their brother's battle of fame. As he bumped into Wei Wen's shoulder, Luo Feng felt something and said, "I really don't understand you. Sometimes you're calm and gentle, like a legendary sage or sage, sometimes you're extremely fierce, like a demon god in hell. Oh, by the way, when you're in white, you're peaceful, and when you're in black, you're promiscuous. Does that mean your personality changes with the color of your clothes? Those who understand understand, even if it's not time, they won't understand. If it's time, they'll understand." "Got it." Wei Wen, dressed in black, fooled. He looked ahead and gestured to Luo Feng. "Feng, it's the one you secretly love." Luo Feng looked over and saw a ponytail girl wearing jeans and a light white polo shirt walking along the roadside among the crowd of students at the school gate in the distance. It is the girl that Luo Feng silently secretly loves. Su Xin. Wei Wen patted Luo Feng's shoulder and said, "Feng, if you like it, go chase after me." Now is not the time to be distracted in love. Let's wait until we win the title of martial arts. Luo Feng shook his head. Wei Wen gave a thumbs up and said, "Come on, keep an eye on you." Except for the trekker, no one knows that he is the young man in front of him. In the future, he will be invincible in the primordial universe and the cosmic sea, becoming the great lord of the galaxy and the founder of the holy land of the galaxy. Moreover, it seems that after reaching the continent of origin through reincarnation, there were even more opportunities to become a greater lord. But Wei Wen knew that even at the end of the original work, the divine power root reached 100,000 times. That was something unheard of in the continent of origin, definitely a thick leg. In the original work, Wei Wen easily received a sponsorship of 6 million yuan for dating Luo Feng in college because of his good relationship, and later became immortal by relying on Luo Feng. Where can I find such a brother? We absolutely need to maintain a good relationship. At this moment, 5 people led by Zhang Haobai happened to appear. Zhang Haobai looked at the 2 people standing together and consciously avoided walking away. I dare not provoke anyone at all. The 2 of them, especially Wei Wen, were far more powerful than him and were repeatedly praised by the instructors of the martial arts school. They were all optimistic and had the hope of becoming martial artists far more powerful than his uncle. Making Zhang Haobai almost crazy, why are they even stronger than him, and who exactly comes from a higher background? As Zhang Haobai and his companions walked away in despair, they couldn't help but chuckle softly. Then, the 2 of them went home together. Wei Wen suddenly looked up while waiting for the traffic lights at the intersection. He felt a fierce killing intent appear in the sky. It's that black-crowned golden eagle. At a height of 1 kilometer in the air. A huge black-crowned golden eagle was flying over the city from high altitude. Its body was about 20 meters long, like a large fighter jet. Its feathers were faintly tinged with a cold metallic luster, and the feathers on its head were dark black, like a black crown. Its sharp and huge claws were also golden. A pair of sharp and cold eyes shimmering with blue light, overlooking the human city below. The black-crowned golden eagle, ranked 3rd among all carving monsters, has an adult body length of generally 21 meters, a wingspan of about 36 meters, and can fly at a top speed of 3.9 Mach. Its feathers are even harder than diamond, and it can withstand artillery fire without damage. Wei Wen's mind flashed with information about the black-crowned golden eagle. Such a terrifying monster, if it had existed in a past life, would definitely have been a destructive existence. But here, there is a mysterious powerhouse who can split the black-crowned golden eagle in half with just 1 strike. I recently customized a CD that requires a clearer video of the mysterious warrior fighting against the black-crowned golden eagle. I don't know how much learning materials collected in this upcoming CD can help me improve my combat skills. Wei Wen's eyes flashed with a hint of malice, wishing he had the level of a god of war and the ability to strike the black-crowned golden eagle with his sword. After the interlude of the black-crowned golden eagle, the 2 returned to the South Bank community, which was lined with numerous tube-shaped buildings. As a low-rent housing community, the land use efficiency of Nanan community is almost at its limit, with almost no spacing, and all of them are nearly 40-story tall buildings. In order to pay less rent, no elevators were built in the tube buildings. After a long day of hard work, climbing dozens of floors back home is definitely a torture. But their home is here, living here for 18 years. After parting ways, Wei Wen and Black didn't rush home and left the community to wait in a remote alley. You're here. I'm here. Where is the CD I want? I have brought it, definitely customized according to your requirements. This is a hard-to-find good product. Okay. After a moment, Wei Wen walked out of the small alley and walked home quickly. Returning home and walking into the bedroom, Wei Wen in Black shouted in his heart, "Master, you have brought back the CD you requested." Wei Wen in Black could vaguely see a transparent crystal ball emitting a chaotic glow, about 2 centimeters in diameter. There are incredibly complex chaotic patterns on the crystal ball, and the Taoist patterns contain an eternal and ancient aura. Mysterious crystal ball with a flash of light. Brush. A man wearing a white sportswear appeared out of thin air next to Wei Wen in black. Surprisingly, the man in white had the same facial features as Wei Wen in black. The two of them looked at each other with a smile, knowing that the Lord of the Universe has the ability to reverse time and space exploration, and any words that may arouse suspicion were silently recited in their hearts. "My lord, the CD is on the table, I have returned to my inner world," said Wei Wen in black, disappearing into place in a flash. "The plot has started. After that, let's leave the main character outside. The clone has the opportunity to come out for battle and experience again." Wei Wen in white stretched lazily, feeling very excited in his heart. He is a traveler, and before crossing, he was extremely fond of the novel, Swallowing the Starry Sky. He was attracted by the ups and downs of Luo Feng's growth story and was fascinated by the vast universe. He once fantasized about what a wonderful growth story he would have if he could travel into the devouring starry universe. Now it has miraculously become a reality. Mud truck. Call of the brave. Powerful means. Wei Wen has no memory. He only knew that when he traveled through time, he was still in a fetal state. When he was born, he was inspired by the primordial will of the universe. Only then did he know that he became the first Brahmin in the primitive universe and was bestowed with a natural secret law. As the first Bra tribe in the primitive universe, he has 3 innate secrets. The 3 major innate secrets are the racial secret, shattering, the special secret, treasure hunting, and the auxiliary secret, analyzing space. The racial talent of splitting the body, and the secret technique of soul transformation can completely divide a person's personality, desires, thoughts, etc. into 2 categories. One is calm and self-spiritual, and the other is boundless and difficult to determine. The body is divided into 2, transformed into independent individuals, each going to extremes without interfering with each other: special talent, treasure hunting, passive ability, favored by the origin of the universe, easy to trigger opportunities, obtain resource treasures, etc. The auxiliary talent, analysis space, comes with a side of the inner world, which can analyze, study, and deduce secret moves, talent secrets, life genes. Wei Wen has a feeling that with the analysis talent, he can analyze everything. All 3 talents are extremely powerful, especially the 3rd talent, analyzing space, which seems to have infinite possibilities. Perhaps this is his travel experience. In addition, although the Bra tribe possesses innate secrets, their life gene level is only twice that of normal. Not reaching 10 times the size of the Golden Horn Giant, Wei Wen was not too disappointed. He believes that with prior knowledge and mysterious, analytical space, it may be difficult to achieve a 100,000-fold genetic hierarchy, but a perfect 10081-fold small goal, such talent, not to mention surpassing Luo Feng, it shouldn't be difficult to keep up with Luo Feng's footsteps, right? Wei Wen's heart was filled with pride. He traveled through a journey, and if he didn't have talent, he could just follow Luo Feng like the original work, at least ensuring immortality and eternity. But so far, he is still stronger than Luo Feng, and may not be unable to embark on his own path of strength. Moreover, after the rise of the Earth's lineage in the future, it will be extremely brilliant, but before Luo Feng had the power of the main force of the universe, it was also extremely disaster-prone, which is frustrating especially after the disclosure of Earth's secrets. The ownership of Earth's oceans was lost, causing the Earth's lineage to be oppressed by extraterrestrial immigrants for tens of thousands of years. It is hard to imagine how many people on Earth suffered humiliation during this period, and how many innocent deaths were caused by poisonous hands. Although the original work did not provide specific descriptions, those extraterrestrial immigrants, even the children of the Lord of the Universe family, in the context of the law of the jungle, even the arrogant children of the Lord of the Universe family cursed Luo Feng and wanted him to die. The fate of ordinary earthlings can be imagined. If we cannot have strong strength or sufficient weight before that, the earth will still suffer humiliation and pay the price of blood and tears. Before crossing, the earth was tragic, but after crossing, the earth remains tragic. Isn't he very incompetent? This is something Wei Wen cannot tolerate. Apart from creating this Washanka who guides the earth's lineage, the earth can only be owned by earthlings. The genius battle in 10 years' time is an opportunity for our earth's lineage, and we must seize it to rise rapidly. If given the opportunity, Wei Wen would also like to help Hong and Thunder God improve their strength. Although their fate was good later on, if they could pass the genius battle early and receive key training from the Virtual Universe Company, they could also assist Luo Feng in supporting the Earth's lineage earlier. Often, in this life, you are not alone. Growing up together, facing the upright values of Luo Feng, Wei Wen has long regarded him as a true friend. Let's start reading study materials. Wei Wen picked up the CD and started playing it. Currently, Wei Wen has not yet passed the quasi-martial arts assessment and is not a warrior, so he cannot purchase cultivation secrets. Even if it can be purchased, there is no money to buy it. So, the images of the battles between the strong and monsters that were circulated online in the early stages of the Great Nirvana to inspire people, as well as some publicly copyrighted videos of the battles and cultivation of the strong, became the learning materials collected by Wei Wen. With his talent, it is difficult to deduce from scratch. Although it may take time to achieve, with reference guidance, it can be deduced and improved more quickly. When you pass the quasi-martial arts assessment to cultivate your genetic energy, you need to cultivate it to the star level as soon as possible. There are no stellar levels on Earth, and planetary levels are the strongest. Breaking through to planetary levels is the only way to act without constraints and create an environment for peace of mind, insight, and research. Wei Wen pondered to himself. He has already used the Bra tribe's innate secret technique of splitting his body to expel the lustful, violent and combative demon identity, which is Wei Wen, the demon god, in black. And his true self, on the other hand, is able to easily enter and maintain a clear state on the spiritual platform due to the exhaustion of distractions, just like an ancient sage who can concentrate on studying, researching, deducing, and comprehending so, in my imagination. Having no negative emotions and being able to stay calm and immerse oneself in deductive research would be more suitable for the role of a researcher. I have also done very well in the past, with full marks in the second exam for both science and mathematics subjects. In terms of martial arts, the artistic conception level body method focuses on the deduction of Jiu Chong Lei Dao, which only has some video references. Recently, a second Gravity Dao was also released, and it is believed that after purchasing Jiu Chong Lei Dao, becoming a warrior can quickly unleash more heavy energy. As for his negative personality, desires, thoughts, and other aggregates, Wei Wen in black is responsible for fighting, releasing his nature in battle, using war to nourish the war, and improving his understanding in battle. Of course, I am not unable to fight either. The combat experience of the demon god Wei Wen will be passed on to me, and my cultivation insights will also be passed on to the demon god Wei Wen. Although the clone of the Bra tribe is somewhat unique, they are ultimately one person. Different division of labor, just for higher efficiency. Wei Wen stared intently at the battle images of the strong and instantly entered a state of sage's realm without any distractions. Without any distractions, his spiritual stage was clear, his thoughts were clear, and his spirituality was innate. It was as if he was constantly in a state of enlightenment, with countless inspirations bursting out of his mind, and his martial arts understanding rapidly improving in the depths of endless air currents. On the towering blue stone peak, sitting on the mountain peak, an old man in a green robe with crystal clear horns on his forehead murmured softly, "The Yen divine clan with great physical potential has almost failed. I don't know what flowers and fruits will bloom on the fertile soil of the spiritual lineage cultivated and guided, what special ethnic group will be nurtured, and when will a genius who can recognize the Lord Star Tower appear? I won't give up if I can't find a suitable disciple and just create one myself. I have reviewed the original work before publishing the book, but there are too many words, and some parts of my memory may be blurry and easily overlooked. If there are any plot conflicts with the original design, please leave more comments to correct them and communicate together. Finally, I am a street food, please take good care of me in the future. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. The end of the college entrance examination. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. The end of the college entrance examination. Jiangnan Bay City, National College Entrance Examination in 2056. On June 7, the science exam was held, with a comprehensive score of 250 points for physics, chemistry, and biology. On June 8, the liberal arts exam, which covers 4 subjects. Chinese, history, politics, and geography, scored 250 points. On June 9, there was a math exam with a score of 250 points. Total score out of 750 points. Ian District No. 1 High School Campus. In the exam room, Wei Wen filled in his name, exam number, etc. on the math exam paper, quickly answering questions as if there was no difficulty at all. In fact, this year's math exam was extremely difficult. In the original work, Luo Feng was hit hard, feeling nervous and anxious, causing his pulse to rise and his heart to accelerate. He eventually fainted in the exam room and failed to complete the math exam, failing to reach the undergraduate level. Of course, in the end, he also benefited from misfortune and his physical fitness improved once again, reaching the standard of a quasi-warrior, opening the way for a warrior. The result was good, so Wei Wen did not remind Luo Feng. After the college entrance examination, I also want to become a warrior. Wei Wen thought to himself as he answered the question. He was able to pass the quasi-warrior assessment early on, so he didn't go in order to establish a good relationship with Luo Feng. After the college entrance examination, Luo Feng embarked on the path of being strong, and he also needs to improve his strength as soon as possible. Speaking of the college entrance examination, he had always hoped that bird language would disappear from the exam in his past life, but now he has achieved it. In his opinion, even if it is to eliminate and screen talents for more learning subjects, it is better to offer traditional Chinese medicine courses than bird songs. Even if it does not reach the level of treating diseases and saving people, it can help to understand one's own body more and take care of oneself. For most people, it is more useful than learning bird songs. Ding ding. The urgent bell rang in the campus of the first high school. The college entrance examination in Jiangnan City officially ended in 2056. The bustling candidates walked out of the examination room, while the campus was filled with anxious parents waiting. Wei Wen, who had just come out of the examination room, did not expect to hear about Luo Feng fainting and being admitted to the hospital. "Mom and Dad, why don't you go back first? I'll go to the hospital to see Luo Feng." Wei Wen gave his exam stationery to Wei's parents and ran towards the nearest hospital. This child. "Wife, when we go home, we all say we won't let you come, you still insist." Wei's father glanced at Wei's mother's belly and helped her go back. Wei Wen, who just finished the college entrance examination, didn't know that Wei's father and mother still had surprises waiting for him. Ian District People's Hospital. "Ah Feng, Feng," Wei Wenlian shouted when he saw Luo Feng's family at the entrance of the hospital lobby. On. Seeing his friend hurriedly running over, his clothes soaked with sweat, Luo Feng was somewhat moved. He immediately moved his heart and asked him what he was most concerned about. On, the difficulty of the last 3 calculation questions in this math paper. "Ah, look at me, it must be easy for you." Wei Wenwen smiled gently and said, "This year's math problems are very difficult. You haven't seen them. Most people are almost crying when they come out of the exam room. I don't think their math scores will be very high this year." Luo Feng breathed a sigh of relief, so that he still had a glimmer of hope. Then they went home separately, and upon returning home, Wei Wen was stunned by a piece of news. Wei Mama is pregnant. Although Wei Wen did not demonstrate his true abilities, his excellent academic performance greatly improved the life of the Wei family. Therefore, at the age of 18, a new life arrived once again. Ah! Wei Wenrua pondered. Although I was initially scared, upon closer reflection, I realized it was a good thing. He is a time traveler who has watched Swallowing the Starry Sky, knows the plot, and knows that the earth will be plagued by disasters for hundreds of thousands of years to come. And he awakened the talent of the Bra tribe, possessing a powerful cultivation talent. He must become a warrior and control his own destiny. Raise the earth's pulse. But he also knows that as he embarks on the path of cultivation, it may be difficult to allocate much time to accompany his parents. So, after being shocked by Wei's mother's ability to conceive again, Wei Wen smiled. "Parents, don't worry, I welcome the arrival of a new life." "That's good." Wei's father and mother exchanged a glance, which far exceeded their expectations. Xiao Wen not only has no aversion, but also looks forward to it. This made a big stone fall in their hearts, and they breathed a great sigh of relief. "Mom and Dad, is this your younger brother or sister?" Upon hearing this, Wei's father and mother smiled and said, "It's twins, twins. That means you're going to have a younger brother and sister soon." Sigh. Wei Wen instinctively took a cold breath. Dragon and phoenix fetuses, one younger brother and one younger sister, both good and bustling. In this way, even if he doesn't have time to accompany Wei's father and mother in his future cultivation, the two elders won't be lonely. "Are you all hungry, wife?" "Xiao Wen, you all need to rest first and watch me show off my skills to cook for you." "Excuse me, husband. I also feel the feeling of being taken care of." "Thank you, Dad." The family is happy and harmonious, and it is foreseeable that there will be 2 new members in the family soon. Wei Wen swore in his heart that he would guard his current happy life and continue to be happy forever. At around 7 p.m. on June 16, in the living room of the Wei family. Wei's father, Wei's mother, and Wei Wen were sitting on the sofa in the living room, staring at the laptop on the coffee table. Although it is only possible to check the college entrance examination results by phone or online at 8 o'clock, it is usually done a little earlier. After refreshing again, Wei's father was surprised to find that a table appeared on the page. Examinee. Wei Wen gender. Male ID number 42612320380529529XXXX exam certificate number. Humanities. 239 Science. 250 Mathematics. 250 total score. 739 undergraduate score line. 561 good kid, it's only 11 points less than the perfect score. Wei's father checked the score and his eyes widened. Although Wei Wen's grades have always been extremely excellent, and many key universities are even willing to accept him, Wei Wen did not agree. However, being able to score 739 on the exam still shocked Wei's parents, and after being shocked, he became ecstatic. "Kid, you've brought glory to our old Wei family." Wei's father's face turned red with excitement as he stood up from the sofa and walked back and forth in the living room, saying he wanted to treat guests and set up a banquet. Wei Wen also approached to carefully examine his college entrance examination results. Once again, the scores in the college entrance examination far exceeded those in his previous life, which also gave Wei Wen a different feeling in his heart. Is this the feeling of excellence? Watching Wei's father walk excitedly, Wei Wen thought for a moment and said, "Dad, Mom, my physical fitness has reached the standard of a quasi-warrior. I plan to participate in the quasi-warrior assessment on July 1st. If everything goes smoothly, I will soon become a warrior." Ah! Wei's father and mother were taken aback. Having a warrior at home is definitely a great thing. Warriors. That represents the most transcendent group of people in the human community, representing privilege. Representing a large amount of money. Representing a lofty position. Becoming a warrior alone allows one to move into a warrior community and live in a detached villa, which is already a great benefit. But Wei's father felt a tightness in his heart. Although martial artists are very beautiful, they are also full of danger, often causing death or injury. Wei's father would rather live in poverty than have his child have an accident. You child, the wilderness area is so dangerous, and you're not a bad student. With your grades, you can enter a research unit in the future with good and safe treatment. What kind of warrior? Xiao Wen, can we not be martial artists? Watching Wei Mama's pleading expression, Wei Wen's heart softened and he was almost ready to agree. But when it comes to the disaster-stricken Earth, the devouring beast crisis, the space adventurer, although the original work was narrowly avoided, with his variable now, who knows if there will be a butterfly effect, so he must become as strong as possible. Wei Wen silently shook his head. Wei's mother started crying, while Wei's father sighed and comforted. After a while, Wei's father finally said to Wei Wen, "You have grown up and have your own ideas. However, you must agree to one condition. Your mother and I agree that you become a warrior." Wei's father and mother looked at Wei Wen seriously. "Mom and Dad, you guys say. Xiao Wen, you must apply to Jiangnan University, the best university in our base city. Based on your grades, Jiangnan University can agree to your suspension. There are still 2 or 3 universities in the country that are better than Jiangnan University, but now Wei's parents are not confident in letting Wei Wen go to other base cities to attend university." Wei Wen nodded, knowing that this was Wei's father and mother trying their best to plan for him. However, taking a leave of absence cannot continue indefinitely. There needs to be a deadline, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. You can tell yourself a time. If the path to becoming a martial artist is blocked, come back and study hard. Wei's father said. "A year." Wei Wen said in order to reassure Wei's father and mother. Of course, he had no intention of going back to school after taking a leave of absence. In the original work, Luo Feng has been invincible for almost a year. Even if he doesn't have a star rating, he won't be worse than Luo Feng, right? Also, you have to always remember that no matter what you encounter, your mother and I hope you can be safe and waiting for you to come back at home. Wei's father and mother spoke heavily. "Parents, don't worry, I will definitely live well." Wei Wen said calmly and firmly. He is of the Bra tribe and has a clone talent. Even if one person experiences an accident, as long as the other person is alive, he can recover by consuming energy and has an incredibly powerful ability to save lives. Seeing that Wei Wen had made up his mind, his father and mother secretly prayed to themselves, "May God bless Xiao Wen with peace and security." In the end, Wei's parents promised Wei Wen to become a warrior. As time passed, it was soon to the end of June, during which Wei Wen had already been admitted to Jiangnan University in advance and had completed the procedures for taking a leave of absence. Tomorrow is July 1st, the day to go to the headquarters of the Extreme Martial Arts School in Yangzhou City. The Extreme Club for the assessment of quasi-warriors starting with manual labor, first become a first watch beast, then evolve into a second watch beast, and the third watch beast can also be anticipated finally. Happy Dragon Boat Festival. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Assessment of Candidates. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3 Assessment of Candidates on July 1st, 2056, at 8 a.m. Early in the morning, Wei Wen and Luo Feng left the Nan'an community, followed Metro Line 11 to Zhong'an Road Station, and then transferred to Line 1 to reach the central area of Yangzhou City. After leaving the subway station, they walked for another 10 minutes to reach the headquarters of the Extreme Martial Arts Hall in Yangzhou City. The Extreme Guild Hall. The two stood outside the entrance of a quiet community. I saw a row of 6 soldiers wearing military uniforms with live ammunition standing at the entrance of the community. This community is the headquarters of Extreme Martial Arts School in Yangzhou City, Mingyue Community. Ladies and gentlemen, Wei Wen took out his ID card and senior student ID card, gesturing for Luo Feng to take them out. At the same time, he spoke up, "Today, on the 1st, we are senior students from the Extreme Martial Arts School, coming to participate in the quasi-martial arts assessment." An elderly man with white hair walked out of the guard lounge next to the community, holding a handheld computer. He swiped their ID cards and advanced student ID cards on the handheld computer, and messages appeared on the screen one after another. Wow, everyone just turned 18 and came to participate in the quasi-martial arts assessment at a young age. The future is limitless. I hope you all can pass the assessment today. Thank you, sir, the two of them said. Subsequently, the elderly man with gray hair waved his hand and let go, and the electric sliding door of the community automatically opened. At the same time, a soldier holding a rifle approached and guided the two to the towering extreme hall in the center of the community. Entering the community, you can see a series of scattered single-family villas, and between the villas, there are rockeries, pools, and grass ponds. Guided by the soldier, the two of them entered the lobby of the extreme hall, and then, guided by a sweet-looking girl, walked to the corner of a small bar next to the lobby and sat down. If you see the environment in this community, it's the place where people live. Wei Wen observed around and said, as long as you become a martial artist and join the extreme martial arts school, you can be assigned to a building for free. This environment is much better than that of the Guanzi building community, and living there is absolutely comfortable. My parents and I will definitely be happy to move in. Luo Feng nodded. Currently, there are only 6 major human-based cities in the country, and land is extremely precious. Commercial housing costs tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of yuan per square meter, resulting in the vast majority of ordinary people living in affordable housing. As for stacked villas, townhouses, and super-large apartments, they all cost hundreds of thousands of Chinese dollars per square meter. And a detached villa not only requires paying a huge luxury tax, but also has restrictions. It is not just about having money to live in, but also about having money, power, and special status. The price of a typical standalone villa is definitely over 1,000,000 yuan per square meter. As long as you become a warrior and join the extreme martial arts school, you can be allocated a standalone villa. Although it is not allowed to be bought or sold, it is also a great benefit. Land nourishes people, just like humans from the universe, the secret realm, and the divine realm, whose potential decreases in turn. If the tube tower stays for a long time, it will also affect its potential and growth. Wei Wen and Luo Feng, are you also here to participate in the quasi-martial arts assessment? A skinny man with a fierce scar on his face walked over, and it was Yang Wu. Yang Gu. Luo Fengyan stood up and welcomed him. Wei Wen also stood up with a smile and said, Brother Yang, last time you were just a little past, and another month has passed. You must be able to pass. In his memory, Yang Wu's speed test this time only exceeded the qualified line by 0.1 meters per second, which was both dangerous and dangerous. Yang Wu looked at Wei Wen with a hearty smile and said, Wei Wen, who is easy to get along with in white clothes. With your kind words, I hope you can pass the assessment smoothly this time. For Wei Wen, Luo Feng also had some doubts in his heart. I don't think I usually get along with him, but many people have told him that Wei Wen's personality is too bad when wearing black clothes, and there is a faint evil energy, which is completely opposite to Wei Wen's gentle and good-tempered white clothes. When the color of the clothes changes, the personality becomes almost two extremes, which is really strange. Is this a genius's quirk? Quiet. A cold shout came from the center of the lobby. The 9 people who were immediately present and waiting to participate in the quasi-martial arts assessment, led by the middle-aged man wearing loose training clothes, went to the 6th floor to undergo the assessment. The 6th floor is a super-large martial arts training hall, gathering more than 10 people. The middle-aged man with disheveled long hair is Wu Tong, the chief instructor of the Extreme Hall, and Jiang Nian, the instructor of Ian District, is also here. The instructors of the other 11 extreme martial arts schools should also be here. Then, Wei Wen secretly looked at the more than 10 warriors in the hall and saw the silver-haired and black-robed man standing on the edge. His eyes lit up. This is the captain of the chief instructor's old friend, the first spiritual reciter to appear in the original work. Subsequently, the chief instructor presided over the assessment of quasi-warriors. The first item, fist strength test. The test quickly drew Luo Feng. Facing the punching target, Luo Feng took a deep breath and completely relaxed. Suddenly, his gaze froze, like a lazy lion suddenly rising up. His spine tightened like a bowstring, and his foot exerted force to his waist and hips, passing through his spine. Luo Feng's right fist seemed to burst out like a shell, crossing an arc. With a loud pang sound, fiercely hitting the punching target of the punching test machine. The punch target shook violently, and a numerical value of 1,200 kilograms suddenly appeared on the screen. I remember the original Luo Feng fist strength test was 1,101 kilograms, so it seems that my arrival has had some effect. Wei Wen thought to himself. At the age of 16, one can only enter a martial arts school to study. In the original work, Luo Feng began searching for some basic skills such as swordsmanship and body movements on the internet around the age of 10. He accumulated experience through practice alone and had a solid foundation, which was an important reason why Luo Feng was able to gain high level of war god strength and quickly rise in the original work after 1 year. And now with him. Especially if he can delve deeper into the collected foundation. With his guidance, Luo Feng increased his punching power by 100 kilograms before absorbing the genetic energy. The chief instructor touched his chin and nodded, saying, "Remember not to lose your body's center of gravity when punching. Although the power of your fist decreases, if you fight monsters, you can maintain adaptability and not show any flaws due to losing your center of gravity." That's good. Lao Jiang, this is from your Ian district. When will such a talented young man emerge? Haha. Jiang Nian, the nearby instructor, chuckled proudly and said, "Chief instructor, the people in Ian district are not bad, but this is not all the strength of our Ian district. Do you still have experts?" The chief instructor became interested and said, "Is that the person who came with this young man? Who is that, wearing white clothes? Come and fight." Wu Tong noticed Wei Wen behind Luo Feng, dressed in a white robe with a calm expression and no sign of nervousness. "Am I?" Wei Wen walked to the giant punching target of the punching machine with a spring breeze-like smile on his face. "It's good to hit over 1,000 kilograms. If it's too much, it'll be troublesome." Wei Wen decided to hide some of his strength, as long as he can pass the quasi-warrior assessment. He let out a light breath. Subsequently, with the waist and crotch as the center, a strong force emanates through the waist and crotch, and then the spine suddenly arches, like a python, producing a strong force that passes through the arm, penetrating step by step. Then, his fist is like a lightning bolt, suddenly hitting the target with a bang sound. The punch strength testing machine display screen. 1,500 kilograms. "Not bad, there are really good seedlings," praised the chief instructor. "Good guy, 218-year-old geniuses in a row, Lao Jiang, you posted this time." As Luo Feng and Wei Wen hit a punch that far exceeded the passing line of the quasi-martial arts test by 900 kilograms, they instantly became the protagonists of this assessment. The second item, speed test. Luo Feng, speed 29.6 meters per second. Wei Wen, speed 31.2 meters per second. The third item is a neural response test. Luo Feng, hit 21 times within 60 seconds without touching the red light, excellent. Wei Wen, within 60 seconds, hit 14 times without touching the red light, excellent. All three tests have been completed, and Wei Wen and Luo Feng, both of whom far exceed the qualified standards, have passed the quasi-martial arts assessment. Once the assessment is passed, a formal certificate will be issued within 7 days and recorded in the citizenship information. Lao Jiang, you really made a fortune this time. You've dug up 2 such good seedlings. Treat yourself, have a feast. Okay, please. Instructor Jiang Nian didn't expect the two of them to achieve such excellent results in their assessment. He smiled and said to them, on August 1st, during the actual combat assessment of the warriors, you will gather at the Extreme Hall in the morning and, under the guidance of the instructor, go hunting monsters outside the human base city with other quasi-warriors. Once the actual combat assessment is passed, you will be a true warrior. It's the instructor, the two responded. Subsequently, others also completed the testing. However, Yang Wu was not affected by the performance of the two and still narrowly passed the weak speed test with a score of 25.1 meters per second. In the end, apart from Wei Wen and Luo Feng, only Yang Wu and Bai Yang, who passed the assessment in the original work, passed the quasi-warrior assessment. Chief Instructor Wu Tong encouraged the two of them and asked Jiang Nian and other instructors to help sign the exhibition assessment contract. He then walked up to the silver-haired and black-robed man and said, "Sorry, Captain, for keeping you waiting for so long. Let's go out." The silver-haired black-robed man glanced at Wei Wen and Luo Feng. For a moment, the two of them only felt that the silver-haired black-robed man's eyes were like the boundless starry sky, and the whole person was instantly immersed in it. However, immediately after Luo Feng's awakening, the whole person woke up. Meanwhile, Wei Wen, who was standing next to him, entered the realm of saints, when the man with silver hair and black robe suddenly changed, and was not affected at all. However, he still struggled a bit. The man with silver hair and black robe glanced at Wei Wen in surprise, then looked at Luo Feng and laughed, "Little guys, your talent is good, work hard. The willpower is also good, indeed a good seedling." Chief Instructor Wu Tong nodded with satisfaction. Immediately, the two of them left. Then Wei Wen and 4 other quasi-warriors signed practical assessment application contracts with the help of instructors such as Jiang Nian. Afterwards, a transparent huge screen appeared on the wall of the martial arts training hall, and an article appeared. Gene Power Cultivation Method. Instructor Jiang Nian smiled and said, "Back then, during the Great Nirvana period, humans were infected with the RR virus, producing antibodies that naturally altered and optimized their body genes. When genes are optimized to a certain extent, they can absorb the threads of energy from the universe and integrate into every cell in the body. In this process, gene optimization will continuously evolve and improve bones, cells, blood, organs, skin, and so on. Your bones can become 10 to 100 times harder than diamonds, and your internal organs are so powerful that you can hold your breath in water for half an hour or even longer. All of this depends on you absorbing energy from the universe, integrating into every cell, and becoming your own energy. That is genetic energy." Instructor Jiang Nian pointed to the article on the screen and said, "This is the cultivation method of genetic energy. The 5 Hearts Towards Heaven Cultivation Method. It is also the only method on Earth to cultivate genetic energy. Only when the level of genetic optimization reaches the standard of a quasi-warrior can one start practicing. There is still 1 month left until the actual combat assessment. During this month, you can try to cultivate your genetic abilities. As for the most precious guidance technique, it is only after you become warriors, join my extreme martial arts school or army, and so on, that you can obtain it." A group of warriors explained the magic of guidance techniques and the improvement of cultivation efficiency to 5 newcomers. Luo Feng asked the silver-haired black-card warrior who made them lose focus with just 1 glance. He had just learned the special strength of the spiritual mind master. Finally, the 4 people who passed the quasi-warrior assessment left Mingyue community and chose a restaurant together for lunch. During the meal, Bai Yang, who was happy to make friends, was very enthusiastic towards Wei Wen, who had already entered the ranks of quasi-warriors at a young age and had outstanding performance in the assessment. He frequently toasted. After drinking a little alcohol, Luo Feng looked at Wei Wen and grew up with him. He always felt that Wei Wen was very mysterious. Sometimes it's bold and revealing, sometimes it's calm and gentle. Wei Wen in black gives him a sense of depression due to violent storms. Wei Wen, dressed in white, has a calm and easy-going heart, but it gives him a feeling of being as deep as a mountain. Profound and invisible. Wei Wen is very mysterious and powerful, and Luo Feng feels that he has always lived in Wei Wen's shadow. However, with such a brother who is both a teacher and a friend present, he believes that his path to martial arts can be smoother. On, how did you practice your body movements and how should I improve? During the test, Luo Feng felt that he was already as agile as a cat, and his feet could achieve a cat-like mat. Every time the body movement was transferred, he did not lose the center and could instantly change direction. His foundation was very solid. But compared to Wei Wen, it is far behind. Wei Wen used his body movements, just like a swift wind, with a wonderful charm. With his divine body movements alone, he could ravage him. This is a level above the foundation. With your qualifications, I believe it won't be long before you can reach this level. Wei Wen smiled and said. Realm can be divided into foundation, artistic conception, realm, and world. Of course, the relationship between foundation and artistic conception can also be further subdivided into smaller realms. For example, body movements can be further subdivided into basic, subtle, perfect, and artistic levels. And with his powerful analytical and deductive abilities, coupled with constantly purchasing publicly available cultivation videos and learning materials online and offline, his body movements have already reached the level of artistic conception. Although Luo Feng's body method had his guidance, it did not engage in actual combat with monsters and was stronger than the original work, but it still did not reach the level of advancement. However, with Luo Feng's pace of progress, if he doesn't continue to work hard, he will soon be caught up by Luo Feng. So, Wei Wen did not slack off in his cultivation. By passing the quasi-martial arts assessment, I have also obtained the gene ability cultivation method, which is almost enough to start showcasing the powerful cultivation talent of the Bra tribe. Wei Wen smiled and thought to himself. After finishing lunch quickly, the five of them bid farewell. On the way home, Wei Wen and Luo Feng called their family to report good news. Hanging up the phone, Wei Wen looked at Luo Feng, who was in contact with his father, with a look of contemplation in his eyes. Zhang Haobai will cause trouble next. Although he will suffer a bit, this is also an opportunity for Luo Feng to awaken his spiritual and mental power. Should he intervene? For 1000+ send up smiley face. It seems that the college entrance examination scores will be available tomorrow. I wish all candidates can achieve their ideal scores. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. 5 Hearts Towards Heaven, Spiritual Mindset. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. 5 Hearts Towards Heaven, Spiritual Mindset. Do. The sound of his phone came in waves, but he couldn't contact Luo Honghua, his father. Luo Feng looked puzzled. However, Wei Wen knew that Luo's father and colleagues were moving furniture for Zhang Haobai. Later, they got into a conflict because Zhang Haobai wanted to buy money from a porcelain pit, and were beaten by Zhang Haobai with 3 bodyguards. In the original work, Luo Feng found Zhang Haobai and 3 bodyguards and hanged them, causing him to be imprisoned. However, he also awakened his spiritual and mental abilities due to misfortune. The result is not bad. It seems there is no need to intervene. But now, Wei Wen and Luo Feng have grown up together and have long become true friends. Knowing that a friend is in trouble, if there is no action, then what kind of friend is it? As for whether Luo Feng did not awaken his spiritual and mental abilities due to this, at most, it's just a late awakening, and it may not be too late. Wei Wen thought to himself. Spiritual thinkers are born with extremely strong spiritual and mental abilities. It's just that when they were young, their bodies couldn't withstand such strong mental and intellectual abilities, so their mental and intellectual abilities lurked in the sea of consciousness. When their physical fitness becomes stronger and reaches a certain threshold, spiritual and mental abilities will be displayed. Luo Feng has the potential for spiritual enlightenment and is destined to awaken his spiritual power. And with Luo Feng's potential in the form of a dark golden ball, to what extent does his physical fitness need to be awakened in the original work? Luo Feng absorbed cosmic energy for the first time in the detention center, and with the awakening of spiritual and mental power, his fist power reached 3,109 kilograms, which falls within the range of 2,000 kilograms to 4,000 kilograms and is the physical fitness of an intermediate warrior. And Luo Feng's headache disappeared after awakening his mental and intellectual abilities. That is to say, the physical fitness of a moderate warrior can meet the requirements for awakening spiritual and mental abilities. Under his guidance, Luo Feng's fist power is now 100 kilograms higher than the original work, reaching 1,200 kilograms. It is expected that he will absorb more cosmic energy for the first time than the original work, and there is a good chance that his fist power will eventually increase to 2,000 kilograms. And 2,000 kilograms has already reached the bottom line of intermediate warriors. Even without stimulation, they can naturally awaken their spiritual and mental abilities. Hey, Luo Feng, Uncle Luo is not too far from us. How about I accompany you to find Uncle Luo? The good news should be shared with our family as soon as possible. Wei Wen stretched his head and looked at the location on Luo Feng's phone screen. Subsequently, Wei Wen and Luo Feng went together to teach Zhang Haobai a lesson. However, the main target was Luo Feng, while Wei Wen took care of Luo's father and two colleagues. In the afternoon, outside the Nanan community. Due to Wei Wen's involvement and direct exposure of his identity as a quasi-warrior, Wei Wen and Luo Feng did not encounter any difficulties and successfully brought back Luo's father after beating Zhang Haobai. At the same time, to celebrate their passing of the quasi-warrior assessment, the Wei and Luo families went to a restaurant next to the community to celebrate. After drinking and eating, go home separately. Meanwhile, Wei Wen and Luo Feng were also eager to cultivate their genetic abilities. Wei's bedroom. Wei Wen sat on the bed with his feet crossed, with the palms facing upwards and his hands on his legs with the palms facing upwards, with his waist and back straight. To absorb the slightest energy in the universe, one must first sense these energies, and the first induction is the most difficult. A typical genius can sense on the first day of cultivation. For warriors with weaker talents, simply sensing cosmic energy would take a year and a half. However, Wei Wen was able to instantly enter the realm of a sage with no distractions in his heart, and the Lingtai was clear and bright. I believe he will soon sense it. He gradually calmed down his breathing, controlled himself, and made his heart calm without any waves. Relax the body, and the 5 hearts naturally face the sky. The heart should be calm as the mirror of the lake. Wei Wen quickly entered a state of mind. Loose, quiet. In the almost meditative silence of the mind, thoughts also become slower. Gradually Wei Wen, who was almost in a state of perfect meditation and enlightenment, vaguely sensed a trace of breath passing through the soles of his feet, palms of his palms, and the Baihui acupoint on his head, gradually flowing into his body at an extremely slow speed. Is this cosmic energy? Wei Wen's eyes widened slightly. After reaching the limit of quasi-warriors, the vast majority of people can cultivate genetic abilities. During cultivation, even if not sensed, the body will spontaneously and slowly absorb cosmic energy. And with his talent, it is not an illusion, but rather a true induction and absorption of cosmic energy. Wei Wen cleared away distractions and once again devoted himself wholeheartedly to sensing and absorbing as Wei Wen's consciousness focused on the 5 hearts. Thoughts of absorbing cosmic energy naturally emanated from his consciousness. The speed at which his feet, palms, and the Baihui acupoint in his head absorbed energy suddenly began to increase, and instantly increased by nearly 100 times. If at the beginning, cosmic energy was like a crack in a water pipe, slowly leaking into Wei Wen. Now, the crack in the water pipe has widened, like a small stream of water constantly flowing into Wei Wen. Wei Wen's body's bone marrow was trembling. After the invisible and colorless cosmic energy entered Wei Wen's body, it was crazily devoured by every cell in the body that had been starving for too long. These energies continued to enter through 5 channels. In cells. As cosmic energy enters cells, it is quickly absorbed by the mitochondria inside the cell, releasing a strange energy that is quickly absorbed throughout the cell. The entire cell itself immediately begins to undergo earth-shattering changes, and the DNA genetic blueprint undergoes subtle changes. At the same time, the cell also begins to divide, dividing into two. Time passes by minute by second. Wei Wen's body is constantly undergoing changes, whether it is the surface skin, muscles, bones, or even every cell at a deeper level. Even the genes themselves have undergone some changes. This change is the evolution of life and an optimization of life genes. Because the human body has never consciously absorbed cosmic energy since birth. So I have been in a state of hunger all along. The first time I absorbed cosmic energy, it was the one that absorbed the most and also the one that improved my strength the fastest. Wei Wen's bone density is increasing, and the cells themselves are shrinking. One cell divides into two cells, and the muscle tissue itself begins to optimize. Naturally, Wei Wen's body weight is also constantly increasing with the experience of Wei Wen in white. His clone in the inner world, Wei Wen in black, also sensed the absorption of cosmic energy. During this process, the two individuals experienced unusual changes in the depths of their brain regions that they could not perceive, with their mental abilities fluctuating. Obviously, in addition to Superman's martial arts talent, Wei Wen also has a strong potential for spiritual enlightenment. In the morning, the sun has just risen. Wei Wen, who had been sitting cross-legged all night, opened his eyes, and the black-clad Wei Wen in his inner world also ended his cultivation. Absorbed all night's cosmic energy, I wonder how much my physical fitness has improved. Wei Wen felt a moment and thought to himself, before, I punched 3,500 kilograms, which increased by more than half. I estimate it could be over 8,000 kilograms. I have about 8,000 kilograms. Wei Wen in black sensed and said, although it is lower than Wei Wen, he can still accept it. He cannot do it like his master, who spends all day either studying or practicing. You should know that he is a collection of the dark side of this master. If it weren't for the transformation of the earth by the sitting mountain guest, who was reincarnated by the god king of Jin, he would have had a miraculous effect on his mental state and soul. And since childhood, he was also forced by this master to read the classics of sages and improve his mental state. Perhaps he could not have suppressed his restless thoughts and horses, and would not have had the current strength. He would have caused trouble all day long. However, he has exceptional combat intuition and a beast-like intuition, capable of unleashing exceptional combat power. So, if we really fight, he may not necessarily lose to our master. Regarding this, Wei Wen in white also knows that one cannot be greedy. He uses his Bra ethnic talent to split his body, to eliminate distractions, and through his racial talent, he can enter a state of sage realm at any time. Therefore, he must accept Wei Wen in black. The negative personality, desires, and thoughts that he has chopped out will be greatly affected by negative emotions, and his focus on cultivation will be inferior. Wei Wen was about to get up when his face suddenly changed, and then Wei Wen, dressed in black, also felt something unusual. The two of them were red all over, with sweat constantly oozing out, and even blood droplets oozing out, making their clothes completely dyed red. The veins of the thugs were like green snakes entwined around their entire bodies. Quickly, the two of them fainted from the pain. Powerful mysterious forces constantly emerge from their respective minds, instantly integrating into every part of their bodies. Under the baptism of this mysterious force, the bones, organs, blood, muscles, and skin of the two individuals are undergoing drastic changes, and each cell is also constantly undergoing changes. This is hundreds of times and thousands of times faster than when the two individuals practiced genetic energy at night, and theoretically, their bodies cannot withstand such drastic changes and collapse and explode. But under the integration of that mysterious force, although their respective bodies showed many phenomena such as convulsions, blood leakage, and bone tremors, at least there was no internal injury to their bodies. Late at night. In the quiet bedroom, the two of them, who had been unconscious for a whole day, opened their eyes one after another. The two of them carefully felt that after absorbing cosmic energy for the first time, their bodies underwent another transformation, and their punching power definitely exceeded 10,000. At the same time, there has been an astonishing improvement in vision, hearing, and even smell. Wei Wen's gaze fell on a large and thick book in the nearby bookshelf. With a movement in his heart, an invisible force instantly controlled the book, and the large and thick book instantly suspended. Wei Wen, dressed in black, his eyes lit up, and his mental energy attached to his clothes and shoes, causing his entire body and world to soar out of thin air. I have awakened my spiritual power, my spiritual power. Wei Wen's eyes were filled with surprise. According to his calculations, with Luo Feng's strong spiritual potential in the field of spiritual mindfulness, the physical fitness of intermediate warriors can all lead to the awakening of their mental power. And he had reached the level of intermediate warrior before, but he did not awaken his spiritual and mental abilities, making him think that they did not have the talent for spiritual and mental teachers. But I don't want to awaken after practicing genetic energy and improving my physical fitness to the level of a junior general. And the dark golden ball in Luo Feng's mind can withstand breaking through the star rating. What about him? It seems that the bloodline of the Bula tribe is even stronger than I imagined. Knowing the extraordinary nature of the Bula tribe, Wei Wen gladly accepted it after being pleasantly surprised. Although it may not necessarily follow the path of a controller, being able to awaken one's spiritual and mental abilities is always a good thing. However, since we have awakened our spiritual and intellectual abilities, the plan will change. Wei Wen slowly pondered. In the primitive universe of devouring the starry sky, there are two paths for the master of the universe to break through and become the strongest in the universe. The law path and the divine power path. The path of laws is the perception of laws, while the path of divine power is the multiple of life genes. That is to say, the key to cultivating the primitive universe is twofold. First, to comprehend the laws, second, to study the genes of life. The most efficient way is to rely on the initial universe chaos monument and various secrets and resources, as there are too few resources on Earth. Of course, we cannot let it go now. Let the clone practice, and with the addition of our own master maintaining a certain level of cultivation, that is enough. And this one goes to study the genes of life. Although the conditions are still rudimentary, it is only an entry-level study of life genes, and it can still be supported by Earth's instruments. That's it. Wei Wen snapped his fingers. Before entering a martial arts school at the age of 16, Wei Wen not only collected martial arts materials to lay a foundation, but also focused on studying cultural knowledge, especially accumulating knowledge in science and mathematics, in preparation for studying the genes of life. As for why he didn't pursue further studies in university and instead took a leave of absence to become a warrior, Wei Wen knew that he came from a humble background, and even if he had knowledge and ability, he might not be able to freely conduct research. Only with absolute force can he be protected from interference, escorting his research, and also gaining various conveniences and accelerating research speed due to his strong strength. The reason why Wei Wen is so eager to conduct research on life genes on Earth is still because he has ideas about the golden horn giant that will arrive on Earth in mid to late August 57, 1 year later. As for what level he can achieve, Wei Wen doesn't know, he can guarantee that he will do his best. My physical fitness is about to start, and I have awakened my spiritual and mental abilities. I am definitely qualified to enter the elite training camp of the Extreme Martial Arts School, which is the War God Preparation Camp. With the help of the War God Preparation Camp, the largest platform on Earth, I can not only quickly break through to the star level, but also find forces willing to provide resources for me to study life genes. Wei Wen's calm face showed a look of anticipation. Various forces are trying their best to attract talented students in the elite training camp, with annual activity funds exceeding tens of billions. If necessary, specialized institutions can also be established. He needs a life gene research institute that fully obeys his orders. Joining the War God Reserve camp and waiting for the price to sell is definitely the best shortcut. Once you go to the God of War training camp, you must completely separate from Luo Feng and fly alone. During the actual combat assessment of warriors in the original work, the Thunderbolt Martial Arts School only offered a special training contract to attract Luo Feng. And Luo Feng didn't want to cause trouble to expose his identity as a mental master, so he couldn't enter the elite training camp at first. Both Luo Feng and I are quasi-warriors, and it's impossible for us to spend most of our time playing together like we did when we were children. It's time for us to experience each other. Wei Wen has a clear mind. Traveling through time can establish a good relationship with Luo Feng and provide a guarantee. But if it's just hugging his thighs, that's not his personality. Believe in yourself and work hard to cultivate. Luo Feng has become an invincible god of war in the War God Preparation Camp for over 4 months, and I may not need 4 months to break through to the rank of Xingqing. Wei Wen shook his head and laughed. Then he tidied up and walked out. The cultivation of genes and the awakening of spiritual and mental power have passed night after day. In the living room, even late at night, Wei's father and mother didn't sleep. When they heard the sound of opening the door, they all looked over, their eyes filled with anxiety. I smiled with peace of mind when I saw that Wei Wen was doing well. "Xiao Wen, are you hungry? Dad will bring you hot rice. If there is anything you want to eat, Dad will also cook it for you now. Don't trouble Dad, I just need some simple food. You and Mom should rest early. You're just being careless, it's better for your parents to come." Watching his busy parents, Wei Wen was moved in his heart and vowed to let them live a good life. Fortunately, he also has the ability to make his parents live a good life. 4,000 plus send up, end of this chapter. Chapter 5. Headquarters Envoy, Assessment Passed. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 Headquarters Envoy, Assessment Passed. In the morning, Wei Wen woke up from his cultivation. The gene's original ability has indeed been greatly improved for the first time. At night, Wei Wen practiced again, but felt that there was too little improvement. However, he sensed the solid sphere in the center of the sea. Judging from his stronger physical fitness than Luo Feng, which awakened his spiritual and mental power, the hidden and condensed spiritual and mental power in the solid sphere was larger than Luo Feng's dark golden sphere, enough to support him to enter the planetary level. Next, according to the tradition of a spiritual master, his strength will still have a rapid improvement. Subsequently, Wei Wen had a simple breakfast and rushed to the Extreme Martial Arts School to shock Jiang Nian. Extreme Martial Arts School. Senior brother. Senior brother, good morning. Wei Wen smiled and nodded, then headed straight to the 4th floor of the senior student teaching building. In the small room next to the staircase on the 4th floor, Wei Wen greeted the old man inside and said, "Good morning, Li Bo. I have passed the quasi-martial arts assessment. Can I enter the 4th floor? The exercise effect on the 3rd floor cannot keep up." The duty old man stood up and saw Wei Wen smiling and saying, "I heard from Director Jiang that you passed the assessment for a quasi-warrior and performed very well, bringing glory to our Ian district. Congratulations, On. Go in." "Thank you, Li Bo." Wei Wen thanked him. The martial arts training hall on the 4th floor. The decoration is obviously much better than downstairs, and various equipment are also much more high-end. But Wei Wen only cares about how much fist power he has now after the first absorption of cosmic energy and spiritual awakening. I don't know if the upper limit of the fist power testing machine on the 4th floor has a warrior level, and if it can test his fist power. Wei Wen stood in front of the punching machine. He no longer concealed his strength, adjusted his breathing, and his body instantly exerted force, his spine arched like a dragon. Boom! The fist was like a missile hitting the target, causing it to shake violently and almost explode from the testing machine. DD. Clear numbers appear on the display screen. 12,900 kilograms. The result came out, and Wei Wen was very satisfied. The physical fitness data of a junior general is 8,000 kilograms to 16,000 kilograms, and his punching power is within this range, and he is definitely considered average among junior generals. However, his physical fitness is generally 2 levels lower than his mental and intellectual abilities, which means that his mental and intellectual abilities are at the level of a senior general. The shocked protagonist had not yet arrived, and Wei Wen did not rush to leave. Instead, he started practicing in the empty martial arts hall on the 4th floor. In order for Jiang Nian to quickly discover his transformation, Wei Wen specially drew the heaviest blood shadow war blade. His punching power is 4 times that of the original work Luo Feng, and the weight of the war blade is also 4 times that of the original work, 404 kilograms. Huguan Changjiang Nian walked up the 4th floor and listened to the loud whistling sounds coming from the nearby martial arts training hall. These were the sounds produced by weapons such as swords wielding at astonishing speeds and splitting the air, clearly reaching the level of martial artists. Even among martial artists, they were extremely strong beings, which secretly startled him. Jiang Nian walked briskly into the 4th floor and saw a man in a white robe waving his blood shadow battle knife in the middle of the super-large martial arts training hall. Although each move was based on the foundation of the sword technique, it seemed to have reached another level. Obviously, this is a skilled swordsman who is not below him. The man in the white robe turned around and Jiang Nian's gaze fixed. Wei Wen, it's you. He was shocked to find that Wei Wen, who had passed the quasi-warrior assessment under his gaze the day before yesterday, was clearly no weaker than his warrior. Wei Wen, you. Jiang Nian couldn't believe that after only 1 or 2 days of absence, the young man's strength had reached such a strong level. Have you tested your fist power? How much has it been? 12,900 kilograms, almost 13,000 kilograms. Wei Wen said. First-class general level. Jiang Nian didn't believe it and asked Wei Wen to test it again. The data on the test machine screen clearly told him that Wei Wen's physical fitness had indeed reached the level of an elementary general. Jiang Nian was stunned. You should know that there are only 3 warrior-level warriors living in the Extreme Guild Hall of Yangzhou City, namely the chief instructor Wu Tong, the cannon Chen Gu, and the eagle blade Kong Quan. One of his trainees had just passed the quasi-warrior assessment and reached the level of a general. The first time cultivating genes, the original ability can be improved so much, and the talent exceeds that of ordinary warriors by too much. After being shocked, Jiang Nian became ecstatic. Previously, during the assessment of a quasi-warrior, you only had around 1,500 kilograms of fist power. Regardless of whether you concealed your strength or not, being able to reach nearly 13,000 kilograms after cultivating your genetic original energy is definitely a demon-level genius. You come with me now, go to the headquarters in the main city area. She grabbed Wei Wen and rushed towards the staircase, even ignoring contacting the headquarters. Jiang Nian was excited in his heart. By recommending Wei Wen to the headquarters, he not only earns contribution points from the martial arts school, but also shows off in front of other instructors. Sure enough, he really posted this time. On the way to the main urban area, Jiang Nian finally contacted by Bo from the headquarters. He heard that an 18-year-old junior general-level demon warrior had appeared at the headquarters and attached great importance to it. Jiang Nian hung up the phone and solemnly said to Wei Wen, "Don't be nervous when you arrive at the main guild, behave well. This time, the president and the 3 managers will come over. If you behave well, it won't be difficult to get the special training contract from my extreme martial arts school." Jiang Nian is not clear about the recruitment standards of the elite training camp. In his opinion, being able to enter the basic training camp will make him an extraordinary powerhouse in the future. The Extreme General Assembly Hall in Jiangnan Base City is a towering dark blue skyscraper. Jiang Nian briefly greeted Wei Wen and the guards before quickly entering the courtyard and walking to a 3-story detached villa. "Jiang Nian, hurry up. The president and 3 supervisors have arrived," shouted an elderly man with white hair on the balcony on the 2nd floor. President, Supervisor. Entering the second floor of the villa, Jiang Nian respectfully shouted. At the same time, he said to Wei Wen, "This is President Zhou Xingyong of our Extreme Guild Hall. The president is a god of war-level powerhouse, and there are also 3 executives including Zhuge Tao." When Jiang Nian introduced Zhuge Tao, Wei Wen curiously glanced at the legendary angel investor. I don't know if this investor will continue to invest in Luo Feng in the future, but he directly entered the war god reserve camp, fearing that he may not receive investment from Zhuge Tao. Unfortunately, the president laughed and shouted, "Lao Jiang, is this the genius warrior you discovered in Ian district?" "Yes, President." Jiang Nian replied. "Okay, you guys go test it." A young man and woman turned on all the switches of the fist strength testing machine, speed testing machine, and other equipment, and at the same time, turned on all the cameras and other devices, obviously to fully capture the images of Wei Wen's test. Wei Wen easily stepped forward to test one by one. Wei Wen, with a fist power of 12,900 kilograms and a speed of 169 meters per second. The testing proceeded in an orderly manner, but when Wei Wen began to test the speed of his neural response, he shocked the 4 giants of the Extreme Guild Hall in Jiangnan City. This body technique, dodging into the subtle. Controlling the environment. No. This has reached a natural and unique level of artistic conception. He himself is like a gust of wind, and can be called a master in body techniques. This is an artistic level body technique that many powerful god of war warriors cannot master. The knowledgeable president Zhou Yongzheng, the god of war, said in one sentence, breaking through Wei Wen's body technique level. Causing great shock. A new warrior who has just passed the quasi-warrior assessment has mastered a level of artistic conception and body techniques that even the god of war powerhouse cannot achieve. This genius, without a doubt, is a genius. Chairman Zhou Zhanshan looked at Wei Wen with a divine gaze and said, "In theory, with your qualifications, you can easily obtain a special training contract and enter the basic training camp, which is a better elite training camp. There is also a chance, but you have not even participated in the martial arts practical assessment. Therefore, my extreme martial arts school will arrange for you to go to the wilderness and fight monsters for a practical trial. Whether it's extreme martial arts school, Thunderbolt martial arts school, or other forces, cultivating talents requires a massive amount of precious resources. So, for warriors who have not undergone actual combat testing and fight monsters to death, they all need an additional assessment. See blood. A warrior who has not undergone blood and fire training is not qualified to become a warrior. Even if one's cultivation strength is strong, if they see monsters and their legs become weak, they dare not fight to death with blood, then they are useless. No matter how talented one is in cultivation, it is not worth investing in training resources. However, Wei Wen's focus is on, is it just a basic training camp? It seems that we still need to reveal our identity as a spiritual teacher. What? Subsequently, everyone present on the second floor of the villa widened their eyes and watched as equipment such as fist strength testing machines, speed testers, and cameras in the martial arts training hall floated out of thin air. Spiritual ability, this is indeed spiritual ability. Surprisingly, you are still a spiritual teacher. The 4 giants of the Extreme Association stared at Wei Wen in front of them in astonishment. Spiritual minders are extremely rare and rarely seen in daily life. Occasionally, they appear and are fiercely sought after by various forces. Once discovered by Extreme Martial Arts School and Thunderbolt Martial Arts School, regardless of their talent, they will provide a special training contract for basic training camps. However, Wei Wen's physical fitness has reached the level of a junior general, and his mental abilities have reached 2 levels. That is to say, the young man who has just graduated from high school in front of him is a senior general level mental teacher. If the latent mental power is not fully digested, there is still a period of rapid improvement in strength. Even if there is not much potential, with the current level of advanced generals, it won't be long before one can cultivate to the level of God of War. And a spiritual master in the realm of God of War can have a significant impact. President, Supervisor, can I enter the elite training camp now? Go in, you can go in. Do we still need additional testing? No need, you just need to wait for the special envoy from our extreme martial arts school headquarters to come over, and you can join the elite training camp. After verification, the chairman Zhou Yongzheng, the god of war, became extremely eloquent. But immediately, he scanned everyone on the second floor with a cold ice-like expression, hand over your phones and other communication devices. Before the headquarters envoy arrives, neither of you should contact the outside world, nor leave this martial arts training hall. Spiritual minders are extremely rare, and powerful spiritual minders are even rarer. If he can recommend a high-level warrior-level spiritual minder to enter the War God Reserve camp, he will definitely receive a lot of praise. On the contrary, if the news leaks and the good seedlings of the spiritual master are taken away by other forces, not only will he have no credit, but he may also be punished by the headquarters. So, President Zhou Yongzheng is extremely cautious. While contacting headquarters, intimidating everyone and ensuring that no rumors are leaked in the afternoon, Jiangnan Bay City Airport. A phantom appeared almost instantly over the airport, then slowed down and passed through the city's defense system, slowly landing. This is a giant flying saucer aircraft with a body full of dark blue, with a diameter of 30 to 40 meters. The faint blue light reflected on the surface of the fuselage is intoxicating. A middle-aged man wearing a gray robe walked out first. Hurry up, go to your headquarters. Young envoy quickly sat on the vehicle and ordered the person sent by Zhou Yong to greet him. The second floor of the villa. Lao Yang, you can count it. Is there a genius next to you who has the qualification of a spiritual thinker discovered this time? Well, hurry up and finish testing, then take the person away. This person has been with me for half a day, making me nervous and uncomfortable, afraid of any setbacks. Okay, Envoy Yang Hui walked up to Wei Wen and said to the two, Hello Wei Wen, I am the headquarters Envoy Yang Hui. Can you test your physical fitness again and then use your mental and intellectual abilities? Wei Wen looked at the middle-aged man Yang Hui in his 30s and wondered if he was the special envoy who brought Luo Feng into the War God Reserve camp for assessment. Upon hearing his words, Wei Wen retested it. Congratulations, you have been admitted to the world's first training camp and the God of War preparatory camp, both at the junior and senior levels of physical fitness. Yang Hui acknowledged Wei Wen's test results and smiled lightly as he congratulated you. Thank you. Wei Wen smiled. Entering the God of War training camp, there are some of the most advanced equipment on Earth today, and even treasures excavated from ancient civilization relics, such as the ancient civilization gravity chamber. He will definitely be able to break through to the star level at the fastest speed and possess the highest level of strength on Earth. It's 4 p.m. on July 3rd, and I'll take you back to gather with your family. You have an hour to say goodbye, and then we'll fly to the global headquarters of our extreme martial arts school. Hongming Bay City. Yang Hui didn't want to be so heartless, but the relationship between spiritual masters, especially genius spiritual masters, is too great. If we don't settle down early, it will definitely attract all forces to compete. Although he is equivalent to an imperial envoy, usually no one dares to provoke him. But if a force goes crazy and offers great conditions that Wei Wen cannot refuse, he cannot stop it either. So Wei Wen flew to the outside of Mingyue community on a specially designed blue shell fighter jet. When bidding farewell to his family, Wei Wen told his father and mother that he had already joined the extreme martial arts school in advance. Wei's father and mother, as family members, can move into Mingyue community and live in a standalone villa tomorrow. Meanwhile, Wei Wen guarantees to keep in touch with them online. Wei Wen bid farewell to Luo Feng again and told him that he only has a vacation in January and February to go home. Please ask Luo Feng to take care of Wei's father and mother. In just 1 hour, many forces rushed to recruit Wei Wen upon hearing the news. What Wei Wen values the most is the excellent cultivation resources of the war god training camp, and his heart is very firm. However, Wei Wen did not leave any room for mercy and hinted slightly that he wanted to establish a life gene research laboratory after graduating from the training camp, so that the bullets could fly for a while. Subsequently, Wei Wen and Yang Hui, the god of war, boarded a flying fighter jet and crossed the city's defense system, flying rapidly towards the global headquarters of the Extreme Martial Arts Museum, Hongming Base City. Watching Wei Wen leave, Luo Feng returned to his bedroom. With a thought in his heart, a small knife floated out of thin air and said, "Is this spiritual power?" Wen is being contested by various forces because he awakens his spiritual power, and he still needs to leave. Can't he be with his family? I don't like it. Let's hide the awakening of our spiritual and mental abilities for now. In a flying fighter jet. Wei Wen was excited in his heart. This was the beginning of his solo flight from Luo Feng, and he didn't know what his performance would be in the War God Reserve Camp next. In the first month of entering the training camp, the original work Luo Feng rushed to number 68. He can't be worse than Luo Feng, can he? 4500 plus to be sent. I made some modifications earlier, but it doesn't really affect my reading. I'm sorry. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. God of War Reserve Camp. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. God of War Reserve Camp, Kyoto Base City, an underground building. Send an order to the branch in Jiangnan Base City to send someone to watch over Wei Wen's family 24 hours a day. Firstly, ensure that Wei Wen's family members will never leave Jiangnan Base City. Secondly, ensure the safety of Wei Wen's family. With Wei Wen joining the elite training camp, various forces have developed corresponding plans. In the cabin of the Yulon fighter jet, Wei Wen and his envoy Yang Hui sat in their seats. Genius spiritual masters like you who join elite training camps usually receive a dragon blood worth 80 billion yuan, which can improve your physical fitness and quickly stimulate your potential as a spiritual master. Of course, if your spiritual master has great potential, you can also apply for dragon blood in the future. There are also some spiritual masters' inheritances, as well as any complete set of secret scripts. Do you have any thoughts on the martial artist's secret script? Wei Wen pondered. The dragon blood produced by the Extreme Martial Arts School can only be produced by Hong. Although it is not as rumored to be made from the heart blood of royal-level dragon monsters, its effect is better than real dragon blood. It can double the physical fitness without any side effects and increase the cultivation speed to a certain extent. In the original work, Luo Feng's physical fitness increased by 2.5 times after using a portion of dragon blood, and his physical fitness barely reached the level of a junior war god, which is worthy of possessing a high-level war god level spiritual and mental power. And part of the inheritance of spiritual masters is probably the practice section of the Foundation of Spiritual Masters that Luo Feng later exchanged from Hong. The reason why he wants to join the War God Reserve Camp is not only for the resources and equipment that assist in cultivation, but also for these inheritances. Unexpectedly, he just got them as soon as he joined. Mr. Special Envoy, I have come up with a plan. I will choose Ninefold Thunder Blade as the martial arts secret script. Envoy Yang Hui suddenly laughed. Wei Wen looked over in confusion. Yang Hui waved his hand and said, "It's okay, just a sigh. Our museum owner is the strongest on earth, and our marksmanship, annihilation, and 9 thunder knives, created by the thunder god are the only 2 ultimate secrets. However, there are too few guns and many knives used, so most students choose 9 thunder knives instead of our museum owner's marksmanship, annihilation. Wei Wen nodded and said that in the elite training camp under the Extreme Martial Arts School, most people do not choose the secret script created by the school owner, but choose the corresponding secret script. It's really a bit of that. However, he knew that Hong and the Thunder God actually had a good relationship, supporting human civilization together since the Great Nirvana. An hour later, the blue flying fighter landed at the airport in Hongning Bay City, the global headquarters of the Extreme Martial Arts Museum. Wei Wen and his wife left the airport and took a special car directly. Wei Wen looked outside through the car window, observing the base city created by Hong Yishou. The base city is very beautiful, and the architectural style is completely inspired by ancient Chinese architecture, with pavilions and towers everywhere. Soon, the training camp arrived. Wei Wen and Yang Hui got off the car and walked together into the spacious training camp gate. As soon as I entered the gate, I saw a giant dragon-shaped sculpture. The nearly 50-meter-tall giant black dragon stared at Wei Wen with its huge dragon eyes, and the endless dark atmosphere instantly oppressed him. According to the original work, the eyes of this black dragon sculpture are the eyes of a king-level black dragon. Breaking. Wei Wen instantly entered the realm of sages, without being affected. Undoubtedly a spiritual master, he was not influenced by black dragon carving. Yang Hui exclaimed. Wei Wen smiled lightly, but his gaze was drawn to the black scales of the giant black dragon, which was 50 meters long. There were small display screens on them, each with a name. However, the top-ranked one is not one of the top 3 seen by Luo Feng in the original work, but a strange name with the code name, 510901, noted afterwards. Wei Wenming realized that it is now July 3rd, and he entered the training camp more than 8 months earlier than Luo Feng. Compared to Luo Feng at that time, some elderly people have not graduated, and some new people have not yet arrived. However, he noticed that Chu Chang is now ranked 5th, but it is unclear whether he accidentally made it to the top 5 or whether he has the same stable strength as Luo Feng at that time. In the original work, the military specially set up an action department for Chu Chang in order to win him over. Once he graduated, he became the leader of the action department. Afterwards, he also won over Luo Feng for the military. I just don't know if Chu Chang will win over him, maybe they still have the opportunity to interact and cooperate. This is the ranking. Currently, there are a total of 185 students in the entire management training camp, including you, all from the world's top talents. According to each person's combat effectiveness score, there will be a ranking from high to low. Yang Hui said with a smile beside him. Wei Wen pretended not to understand and asked, "What is this ranking for?" Yang Hui smiled and looked at Wei Wen. Entering the elite training camp doesn't mean you can slack off. If you accumulate 3 rankings and end up in the bottom 3, you will be eliminated. You are a rare genius spiritual thinker, and even if you accumulate 3 times and end up in the top 3, you may not be eliminated. However, the ranking is too low, which is extremely difficult for a genius like you to accept. Moreover, the ranking also represents that you enjoy different benefits. The higher the ranking, the more resources one possesses. For example, treasures excavated from ancient civilization relics are unique, with higher rankings leading to longer usage time and lower rankings resulting in less usage time. If the ranking is too low, it can also greatly affect the speed of cultivation. So that's it. Wei Wenruan nodded thoughtfully and asked, "How do I compete for this ranking?" Today is the 3rd. You can choose to officially join the training camp next month to compete for rankings, or you can choose to participate this month. After all, this month has just passed 3 days, but if you participate in rankings this month, it may be a bit disadvantageous. The students who can enter the elite training camp are all the top geniuses in the world. With 3 days less time, if they are not geniuses among geniuses, they may not be able to catch up with this gap. Mr. Special Envoy, I have decided to officially join the training camp this month. Wei Wen said without hesitation. He is closely pursued by Luo Feng behind him. If we don't seize every opportunity to improve our strength and establish a strength advantage, with Luo Feng's pace of progress, we may soon be left behind. Okay, young people should have such determination. In that case, I'll take you to handle the procedures. So Wei Wen followed Yang Hui to handle the procedures. During the processing, Yang Hui asked, "Wei Wen, what code are you planning to choose? You officially joined the training camp on July 3rd today, so the first 4 digits of your code must be 5607, and the last 2 digits. You will be the first to join throughout July, and you can choose any 2 digits. 29, the code name is 560,729. Wei Wen, who had some understanding of this through the original work, entered the training camp and came up with his own code name. Yang Hui nodded and said, Wei Wen, 560729. The other procedures will be completed soon. On the Black Dragon carving ranking of the world's first training camp, the 185th name quickly appeared. Number 185 Wei Wen, 560729. However, due to the previous controversy over Wei Wen, his joining did not surprise various forces. But it is also a corresponding response. After all, Wei Wen is a rare and talented spiritual thinker. Especially in Kyoto, we have made a lot of preparations. Even if we cannot bring Wei Wen over, we must maintain a certain level of cooperation. Subsequently, Wei Wen followed Yang Hui and walked over a wooden arch bridge to a complex of buildings. Yang Hui pointed to the distance and said, the garden over there is Jiangnan Pavilion. Jiangnan Pavilion now has 2 students, just like you, from Jiangnan Bay City. You are the 3rd student to check in. Jiangnan Bay City, Jiangnan Pavilion, 3 students. Wei Wen knew that the other 2 students in Jiangnan Pavilion should be Shijiang and Zhao Ruo. Subsequently, Yang Hui and Wei Wen met with Shijiang and Zhao Ruo. Shijiang lives in one of the 3 towers in Jiangnan Pavilion, about 1.7 meters tall. Although he is relatively thin, he gives off a strong feeling. It seems like the whole body is made of a piece of steel. Her eyes are introverted in spirit, but occasional flashes of light can be heart-wrenching. Having strong strength, perhaps one can already defeat Yang Hui, a medium-sized war god. When Luo Feng entered the training camp in the original work, he had a stable top 5 strength. Zhao Ruo lives on the west side of the left side of the 3 towers. She is a short-haired girl with a petite figure, but her only downside is that her skin is slightly black and her eyes are relatively small. But being enthusiastic and easy to get along with. Shijiang, Zhao Ruo, Wei Wen just arrived. You are senior brothers and sisters, you can take more care of yourself. Yang Hui smiled and said. By the way, Wei Wen, your things and secret scripts will be delivered by someone later. Please sign for them when they arrive. Subsequently, Yang Hui left. After greeting Wei Wen, Shijiang, and Zhao Ruo when they met. Knowing that Wei Wen was directly selected from ordinary people, Shijiang reminded, Wei Wen, when you return to your room, open the laptop provided by the training camp for you. There is a student notice in this laptop, please take a look. Zhao Ruo also reminded, especially in terms of points, in training camps, the points ranking table is the most important. From the 1st to the 28th of each month, it's time to earn points. For example, if you're a new ranked 185 number, in the first 28 days of this month, the double number will be practicing in the training camp, and on the day of the single number, you will follow other students to hunt monsters in the wilderness area. The results will be calculated on the 29th of each month to determine the final ranking of this month. Wait until the points clear next month to earn points again and compete for ranking. This point is calculated by multiplying the record point by the combat power amplitude. The achievement point is obtained by hunting monsters. The combat power amplitude is determined at the virtual space trial tower, and you can go back and check the student notice for more details. By the way, Wei Wen, are you officially competing for rankings this month or next month? Zhao Ruo asked curiously. This month. Then you need to be mentally prepared. You are a newcomer and have 3 days less time than others. Shijiang spoke up and said, unless your strength is extremely strong when you enter the training camp, newcomers will gradually rush from the back to the front when they enter. Everyone comes in this way. But Wei Wen, remember that in the training camp, if you want to improve your strength quickly, you need to strive to move forward every month's ranking. The higher your ranking, the more resources you have. Some of the resources in the training camp are highly coveted by the God of War. Even if your strength reaches the God of War level, many students still stay in the training camp. For example, our senior brother Shi Jiang. Zhao Ruo next to him sneered. Shi Jiang remained silent. Zhao Ruo covered his mouth and chuckled, while Wei Wen also smiled. Jiangnan Pavilion, the tower to the east, in the study. Wei Wen opened his laptop, sat on a chair, and carefully read the student notice. The three most important aspects of the entire training camp. Trial Tower level, Fist Power level, and Black Dragon ranking. The ranking score is equal to the record point multiplied by the power amplitude. Achievement point. A first-level beast at the level of a general, counted as one achievement point, a medium-sized beast at the level of a general, with a total of 10 record points, a high-level beast at the level of a general, with a total of 100 record points. First-level Lord-level monsters have 1,000 record points, but Hunting 2 will graduate, and no students will go back to hunt first-level lords. And the amplitude of combat power is the Fist Power level multiplied by the Trial Tower level. Ranking first every month. If you have accumulated 6 firsts, you can receive a drop of 30 billion worth of chalcedony, choose any complete set of secret scripts for free, and receive one opportunity for Hong or Thunder God to personally guide you. Ranking first every month. If you can accumulate 9 firsts, you can receive a dragon blood worth 80 billion yuan. You can choose any 3 complete sets of secret books for free, and choose Hong or Thunder God as your teacher to become your own disciple. At level 6 of Fist Power, you can obtain a dragon blood worth 80 billion, SS level combat suit, and a complete set of weapons. At level 5 of the Trial Tower, you can obtain the position of Inspector in the Extreme Martial Arts School, with a value of 80 billion dragon health, a complete set of SS level combat uniforms and weapons, any 3 complete sets of secret books, and a set of ancient civilization ruins Black God. Wei Wen looked at the reward terms on the student notice, and thought to himself. The original work Luo Feng entered the training camp at the end of March, took dragon blood at the end of July, and went to the Australian mainland for training in August. After improving his strength to the level of Invincible God of War, he became an inspector of the Extreme Martial Arts School and no longer stayed in the training camp. And with Luo Feng as a reference, he probably won't be able to stay in the training camp for much longer. So, the reward clause with the highest cumulative ranking cannot be obtained, and there is no need to pay attention to it. What needs to be paid attention to is the reward terms for the full effort level and the Trial Tower level. At level 6 of Fist Power, you can obtain a share of Dragon Blood. At level 5 of Trial Tower, you can obtain a share of Dragon Blood. According to estimates, his latent mental power is enough to support him to break through to the star level. So, before becoming a planetary level mental master, quickly improving physical fitness can lead to a rapid increase in strength. Dragon Blood is a treasure that can double and improve physical fitness. As a genius spiritual thinker, I will receive a share of Dragon Blood upon entering the training camp. Now my punching power is nearly 13,000 kilograms, and my physical fitness is average for beginners. In the original work, Luo Feng used Dragon Blood to improve his physical fitness by 2.5 times. My current strength is lower than his at the time, and perhaps I can increase it by more than 3 times, which is nearly 40,000 kilograms. If you get 2 more Dragon Blood, one 80,000 kilograms and one 160,000 kilograms, even if the Dragon Blood effect weakens in the later stage, you can still have a physical fitness of 128,000 kilograms above the intermediate God of War bottom line, which is enough to support your mental abilities to break through to the rank of star. So, we need to find a way to get the 2 portions of Dragon Blood in this reward clause. Wei Wen's gaze was full of excitement, so that his strength could improve as quickly as possible. Of course, there are also other treasures, such as the spirit of plants and trees, the crystal of wood. The original training camp conducted life and death adventure training for students in mainland Australia from August 1st to 29th at noon in the year 57, and they should also have life and death adventure missions. At that time, his strength should be able to take the opportunity to explore the location of the spirit of plants and trees. Before that, my energy was still focused on the reward terms of the training camp. However, the difficulty is really great. Fist power is the strongest in Thor God's 9-fold thunder blade, with 0.7 times its own power, and 0.7 times more power for every additional weight. In the 9th level, it can reach 7 times its power. 6 times the strength. You need to practice the 9th level thunder blade to the 8th level. And at the level of the trial tower, the strongest person on earth, Hong, only managed to break through to the 6th level of the 7-story trial tower. You should know that Hong has already comprehended the realm. Planetary level is almost the lowest limit in the realm of comprehension, and when an apprentice reaches level 9, they should hardly fantasize. So, the 5th level of the trial tower is almost approaching the limit of the apprentice level. However, it is not impossible, at least there is a lot of room for improvement in boxing power. Physical exertion does not include amplification. The theoretical limit is 100 times, and this is when the body's potential is fully unleashed. In the original work, Babata once said that the average level of power output for the 9th level apprentice on meteorite is 10, which may not be the maximum power output for the 9th level apprentice. So, increasing the punching power to may 6th not be a difficult task to achieve. If your fist power increases and you go to the trial tower, you may have a chance to reach the 5th level. Wei Wen's 2 goals in the training camp were to exert his fist power of 6 and test tower of 5 levels. Once the goals were achieved, he could return from exploring the Australian continent and graduate from the training camp. I don't know when my dragon blood, some spiritual teachings passed down, and the secret script of 9-fold thunder knife can be delivered. While waiting, Wei Wen called out some teaching videos from the laptop specially equipped for the training camp. These teaching videos are much more nutritious than the learning materials he secretly collected himself. Wei Wen is like a withered sponge, crazily absorbing the cultivation experience taught by many war god powerhouses, and his martial arts understanding rapidly improves. Sorry, it's a bit late. Over 4,500 will be delivered. In the previous text, the 2 bodies of the Bula tribe were changed to the original Wei Wen and the miscellaneous thoughts clone in black Wei Wen. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Shocking Heart Lake, Stacking Waves and Beating the Sky Palm. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Shocking Heart Lake, Stacking Waves and Beating the Sky Palm. On July 15, the sun was as red as blood. Wei Wen and 92 other students returned from hunting monsters in City 1001, a wilderness area about 300 kilometers away from the training camp. Look, that's the new genius reciter Wei Wen this month. Pushi, what a genius spirit master. I think he's a fool. When hunting monsters, he dares to wander and walk directly into the numerous monster-level monster groups led by intermediate lord-level monsters. If he didn't fly out with his spiritual power, he might have died long ago under the monster's charge. Those who can escape from the hands of medium lord-level monsters still have strength, but humans are foolish and feel absent-minded, as if they don't care about the danger in the wilderness area. Even if they have good talent and strength, they will eventually die at the hands of the wilderness monsters. That is to say, many teachers are optimistic that Wei Wen will soon make it to the top 100 on the leaderboard. I think he will still survive from the first month. If the genius Nian Shi dies in the wilderness area in the first month of entering the War God Reserve camp, it will become a huge joke. Jiangnan Pavilion. Shi Jiang and Zhao Ruo heard rumors and lived together in the Jiangnan Pavilion. They knew better that on the night Wei Wen arrived at the training camp and signed for a large password box, their status had changed slightly, as if they were wandering around the world and rarely paying attention to external affairs. You should know that the trainees of the training camp are going to hunt monsters in the wilderness, although few of them have accidents in the wilderness. However, if one is not vigilant, even the god of war will fall into the wilderness. Shi Jiang and Zhao Ruo wanted to persuade, but Wei Wen greeted them and left without a chance. Senior brother Shi Jiang, you ranked 7th last month and also had a single number. When you went to hunt monsters in 1001 City, please take a look at senior brother Wei Wen and don't let anything unexpected happen to him. Wei Wen's condition made her very worried, but unfortunately she ranked even last month and went to the wilderness to hunt monsters with a double number. Moreover, Shi Jiang's strength is even stronger, and if encountering any danger, he can handle it better than her. These days, I will follow Wei junior brother. Shi Jiang nodded. He had originally planned to spend more time this month improving his cultivation, perception, and combat skills, just in time. In the underground cultivation chamber. In the inner world, the sword light was everywhere, and Wei Wen, the clone of the black-clothed demon god, was unleashing the 9 thunder knives with a murderous aura, one sword after another, endlessly stopping. Wei Wen, am also using the talent's secret method of analyzing space to quickly analyze and deduce 9-fold thunder knife. With the help of the powerful and mysterious analysis space, Wei Wen, who is fully immersed, feels that inspiration constantly comes to his mind. New insights on practicing 9-fold thunder knife are constantly emerging, including how to wield the sword and how to unleash more powerful energy. So it's like this, too clever, too interesting. The corner of my Wei Wen's mouth smiled faintly, sinking into the pleasure of studying and comprehending on July 3rd, because the training camp was located within the headquarters of the Extreme Martial Arts Academy. Wei Wen's reward for joining the training camp was delivered on the same evening. After Wei Wen signed for it, in addition to the agreed portion of dragon blood, some spiritual masters practiced and inherited it, as well as the complete set of 9 thunder knives. There was also an S.level combat suit, and 9 SS-level flying knives were included as gifts for Wei Wen to practice his spiritual and mental abilities. If you need more flying knives, you can apply for them. Subsequently, Wei Wen used dragon blood for the first time. Like Luo Feng, he applied dragon blood to his upper body, but also lost consciousness due to the intense effect and pain of dragon blood strengthening his body. He was unconscious for over 3 hours before waking up. I tested my fist power at a small martial arts training hall on the 5th floor of the 9-story giant tower-shaped building, Jichonglu, in the central core of the training camp. 40,000 kilograms. The physical fitness has improved by about 3.1 times. Reaching the level of a senior warrior, one's spiritual and mental abilities have also been elevated to the intermediate level of a god of war. However, as the number of times dragon blood is used and physical fitness becomes stronger, the improvement factor of using dragon blood will gradually decrease. But he is still determined to win the dragon blood of those 2 reward terms. Subsequently, Wei Wen did not take advantage of the opportunity to cultivate and inherit some of the spiritual masters he had obtained. He just looked at it once and put it aside. Take 9 thunder knives and practice the knife technique. His swordsmanship foundation is extremely solid, and after his body techniques enter the artistic realm, he also rises to the level of artistic conception. He even watches videos of strong players performing 9-fold thunder knife, and deduces multiple forces on his own. The complete set of secret scripts for 9-fold thunder knife, that I have been thinking of all at once, isn't it pleasing to see the hunter? Wei Wen immediately immersed himself in the cultivation, research, analysis, and improvement of his understanding of the 9-fold thunder blade. Because his mind is focused on 9 heavy thunder knives, he doesn't pay much attention to the outside world, which is also the reason why he entered the monster group before. However, there will be a return on investment. His 9-fold thunder blade has reached the 6th level of cultivation, with a power output of 4.9 times. But there is still a considerable gap between the fist power output level 6 in the reward clause, and the previous rapid improvement was not only due to the powerful auxiliary effect of the talent's secret technique analysis space, but also because the foundation of the knife technique had accumulated too much in the past, and the accumulation turned into firewood, rapidly advancing the level of Ninefold Thunder Knife. But after reaching the 6th level, the firewood burned almost completely and the improvement became slow. Without opportunities, it is difficult to achieve qualitative transformation in the short term. However, Wei Wen did not become discouraged or slack off. In the study of neglecting sleep and food, time passed rapidly, and the 16th of the next day passed quickly. However, Wei Wen is new this month and can only use the ancient civilization gravity room for 1 hour, the trial room for 1 hour, and with the addition of new privileges, he can undergo 1 trial tower level assessment. The time spent in the cultivation room is very limited. So, missing the cultivation day has no effect. On the 17th, Wei Wen, reminded by the alarm clock, once again followed the single-number student team to hunt monsters in City 1001. If you continue to practice Ninefold Thunder Saber for 2 more days, and your progress is still slow, then you can pass on the part of the spiritual master you have cultivated. With a decision in mind, Wei Wen went to a secluded place as usual to practice 9 Thunder Knives. He casually killed several mid to high-level monster generals that collided with him, achieving a 290 record point and walking to an abandoned park. The park has been abandoned for a long time, and there seems to be no group of monsters trampling or destroying it. It is thriving, with numerous flowers, plants, and trees. It seems that no students have been to this garden before, and there are not many introductions on the training camp map. Go inside and take a look. With the improvement of spiritual power to the intermediate level of God of War, relying on the eerie and powerful spiritual power, there are fewer and fewer places on Earth that can threaten Wei Wen's safety. Wei Wen walked carefully into the park. After a depth of 300 to 500 meters, a clear water lake appeared before his eyes. There is a lake in the garden and an island in the center of the lake, which is truly wonderful. Before the Great Nirvana, this must have been a well-known scenic spot. Wei Wen exclaimed. Being able to discover a stunning scenery in this rarely visited place, Wei Wen felt delighted and wanted to board the island in the middle of the lake for a trip. Wei Wen carefully sensed the surroundings and found that there was no danger. He exerted his mental strength, and the combat suit sent a huge lifting force. He then flew out of thin air and landed on the island in the center of the lake. Oh, why isn't there any green plants on this island in the middle of the lake? The park outside the lake is lush, like a garden, while the island in the center of the lake is bare, almost devoid of any grass. Wei Wen looked around strangely and made a circle around the lake island, which was several tens of meters away, but did not notice any difference. It's really strange. Wei Wen casually walked to the edge of the island in the middle of the lake and sat down. By chance, he lowered his head and found ripples on the water of the lake. Ripples, I haven't touched the water. Where did these ripples come from? Wei Wen walked around the lake with great interest. Surprisingly, the ripples spread from the island in the center of the lake to the shore of the park, with ripples rising all over the water surface. And this island in the center of the lake is the core of the vibration. This island in the center of the lake is shaking. Wei Wen exclaimed in surprise. He closed his eyes and could vaguely feel the small island trembling. The island in the center of the lake was a source of vibration, causing the lake water to constantly vibrate and create ripples. The Wei Wen's brain seems to have been hit hard by a heavy hammer. He's enlightened. These ripples, thunderous knives, heavy waves. Wei Wen quickly took off his boots and stepped barefoot on the ground of the island in the center of the lake, feeling the vibration of the island more closely. He was surrounded by his own turmoil and entered a wonderful realm of enlightenment. Wei Wen quickly abandoned unnecessary thoughts and entered the realm of the sage, and then his body and mind merged with heaven and earth. There are many strange places on earth, some of which are barren and constantly thunder, with thunderbolts everywhere. Some ghosts cry in the canyon, the wind howls in anger, like a land of ghosts, where humans and animals easily fall into unconsciousness and collapse upon entering. In some places, people have nothing to do when they leave, and when dogs pass by, they bark wildly. Some enter science and are deciphered by others. Some are still unknown that human science cannot explain, and this island in the center of the lake is one of the wonderful places created by the earth over the long years, containing certain laws. Wei Wen, who accidentally entered this world, utilized the creation of heaven and earth to cultivate a treasure land. Infinite inspiration burst out in his heart in an instant, and the talent's secret method, analyzing space, quickly began to deduce. The lake water, ripples. 9 thunderbolts and knives. A heavy storm and waves. With unintentional murmurs, Wei Wen also instinctively began to practice. At the beginning, Wei Wen used his palm to create a sword and unleashed the 9-fold thunder knife, which consisted of 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and at the 6th level, Wei Wen's movements did not stop and continued to be unleashed. 7, 8. Finally, the 9th level of the 9-fold thunder knife was unleashed without much hindrance by Wei Wen, achieving the 9-fold thunder knife realm, which is said to be achieved only by the thunder god. But Wei Wen still hasn't woken up, still in that magical state. Lei Dao Jiu Chong was repeatedly used by him, and after half a day of unconsciousness, Wei Wen's hand movements quietly changed. Wei Wen's body is like a deep and bottomless lake, nurturing infinite ripples. There are many powerful paths born in his body, stimulating the potential hidden in his body and mobilizing all his strength. A gravity path bursts out from his body. He no longer uses his palms as a knife, but instead uses his palms to push forward, as if adding fuel to the waves, causing one wave after another, 1 wave, 2 waves, 3 waves. Then, starting from 1 wave and hitting 3 waves repeatedly, it continued for half a day, and by this time, it was already dark and entering night. In the park outside Hushin Island, there is a nearly 1.7-meter black figure standing quietly staring at Wei Wen on the island. What is Wei Jr. brother doing? Why don't he go back to the training camp? It was Shi Jiang who decided to secretly take care of Wei Wen, that followed him from a distance. In the evening, he found that Wei Wen had not come out and slowly walked into the park. Wei Jr. brother, is this entering the state of enlightenment? Shi Jiang is also a powerful warrior with at least moderate war god strength. He knows what kind of opportunity it is for a warrior to enter the state of enlightenment. So, he immediately summoned and notified the training camp, and personally guarded the surroundings to protect Wei Wen. No one disturbed, Wei Wen still had an epiphany. Late at night, as if tired and with a new insight, Wei Wen sat cross-legged in the center of the island in the middle of the lake and remained motionless. On the 18th, 19th, 20th, time quietly passed, and soon it was the 25th. Shi Jiang, it's been 8 days now. When will Wei Wen wake up? Zhao Rua stood by the lake and asked. The time is long, but the longer the enlightenment time, the greater the harvest. I don't know to what extent Wei Jr. brother's strength will improve when he wakes up this time. Shi Jiang's eyes sparkled with a divine light. He knew that short moments, long hours, and a day of sudden realization were very rare. 8 days of sudden realization was quite shocking. Bang! The island in the middle of the lake exploded with a loud bang, splashing with soil. The island instantly split into pieces and sank to the bottom of the lake. However, Wei Wen still did not wake up and sat cross-legged on the lake, his body shaking and undulating. What's going on here? Zhao Ruomu stared blankly. Shi Jiang shook his head but couldn't understand. Keep waiting, it seems like it's almost time to end. 2 more days passed, and it was noon on the 27th. Shi Jiang guessed right. When the island in the middle of the lake exploded, Wei Wen retreated from that magical enlightenment state. However, although he did not have the blessing of enlightenment, he found that with the help of the innate secret technique analyzing space, he could still efficiently deduce the palm technique he had comprehended, and continue to deduce it based on the 11 waves. So he continued to deduce for 2 more days, finally pushing the 12th wave, which is also the limit he can currently reach. 12 waves. Wei Wen suddenly stood up and clapped his palm. The lake instantly exploded with 12 piercing water columns. With the help of his willpower, Wei Wenfei landed on the shore by the lake and looked at Shi Jiang and Zhao Ruo who were worried. He thanked them and said, "Thank you, senior brother Shi Jiang and senior sister Zhao Ruo, for guarding me." "Wei junior brother, are you?" Shi Jiang asked in a daze as he looked at the 12 water pillars in the lake. "I have gained some insights here and come up with a set of palm techniques." Wei Wen smiled lightly. "It's not just a simple set of palm techniques, it seems to have similarities and differences with 9 heavy thunder knives, implying 12 gravity paths. I don't know how many gravity paths you have. If each gravity path is more than 0.6, then it's 7.2 times more powerful than the perfect 9 heavy thunder knives." Shi Jiang shook his head secretly, "Probably impossible, but it's the second strongest and strongest thunder god on earth, unable to exceed 7 times more powerful." Wei Wen smiled silently, but he also secretly exclaimed in his heart. His 12 gravity channels not only have a force of 0.7 times lower than the weight of Thunderbolt 9, but also have a force of 0.8 times, which means that his 12 gravity channels are 9.6 times more powerful. Even taller than Thor. Almost 10 times the average level of the 9th level apprentice of Meteorite Ink Star. Greatly exceeded the training camp's boxing power reward clause by 6 times the power. This is unimaginable. You should know that Thor is the strongest force on Earth, while Meteorite is an immortal inheritance. Luo Feng Thunder Rainstorm Wudao, He Island in the Lake Wuzhang, they are really good brothers. Wei Wen turned around and glanced at his senior for 2 days. He suddenly realized the location of the lake island that had been unconsciously opened up at the end and muttered to himself. In addition to thanking the powerful auxiliary effect of the talent's secret technique analyzing space, he was able to increase his power to 9.6 times in one fell swoop, but we must greatly thank this strange island in the center of the lake. He seized the artistic and mystical essence that had been nurtured here for countless years, helping him to suddenly realize and destroy it. It takes countless epochs to conceive such a magical treasure again. If Hushin Island has wisdom, it may be happy to meet cultivators who conform to the principles of Hushin Island. Millions of years, finally someone understands it. At the right time, in the right place, with the right people, a set of Earth's ultimate secrets has emerged. Since you have woken up, let's go. You have realized these days that many teachers in the training camp, especially Yang Hui, are very worried about you. Shi Jiang reminded. Sorry, I'll mark it and we'll get back. Wei Wen quickly brought in a huge hard stone from elsewhere, using his fingers as a pen, and his strokes began to move swiftly. A heart-shaking lake, an island in the center of the lake, a set of stacked waves and empty palms. On July 27, 2056, Wei Wenchuang held his palm here. Wei Wen clapped his hands and said, "All right, senior brother Shi Jiang and senior sister Zhao Ruo, let's go." "Good guy, there's a hint of a master's demeanor, it seems that my strength has improved a lot." Shi Jiang sighed as he looked at the powerful strokes on the monument. "Wei Wen junior brother, how much power do you use in your martial arts? Have you improved a lot? You haven't hunted many monsters this month, and it may be difficult for you to reach the top of the Black Dragon ranking. However, if you use your martial arts and have a high level in the trial tower, you will definitely be shocked." Zhao Ruo chuckled. "Yes, I will go and assess." Wei Wen's gaze was firm. Now that his power level has reached 9.6, he can receive the reward clause for Fist Power 6. As for the reward for Trial Tower level 5, he has a great chance of receiving it. Of course he's going to break through. I just don't know how many faces he would hit if he exerted 9.6 times his strength and climbed to the 5th floor of the Trial Tower 4500 plus to be sent. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Shocking Performance. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 Shocking Performance. Returning to the training camp, the three of them walked straight towards the 9th floor trial room of Jiucheng Tower. At this time, it is a break period after 12 noon. As a newcomer, Wei Wen can use the level assessment privilege of the trial tower to directly conduct the trial. As the three of them walked into the training room, many people behind them had doubts on their faces. Isn't that senior brother Shi Jiang? Today's tracking number, he should be hunting monsters. How did he come back? Have you seen the white-robed boy next to senior brother Shi Jiang? He is a new genius spirit master who is highly regarded by many teachers. It is said that he has been enlightened for the past 10 days, and senior brother Shi Jiang has also been guarding him. Now it seems that the enlightenment has ended. Enlightenment. 10 days. Just kidding. Are you joking? Just wait to see the ranking on the leaderboard and you'll know. If you're still at the bottom, there's a good show to watch. In the trial room. Trial room. Wei Wen and Shi Jiang lay on the sofa, each picking up a dark blue helmet and putting it on. Wei Wen junior brother, come on. Zhao Ruo stood on the side, cheering. Subsequently, the two entered the virtual space. A vast expanse of silver earth, with two figures appearing on the ground, one in front of the other, Wei Wen and Shi Jiang. Is this virtual space? Wei Wen curiously looked around. Experience your virtual body at the same time. With a fist power of 10,000 kilograms, a speed of 150 meters per second, a nerve reaction speed, and a first-class warrior level. It's amazing, but we can only imitate consciousness helmets. Other devices such as consoles are still remnants of ancient civilizations that human scientists can't understand. Shi Jiang shook his head and sighed, really unsure how ancient civilizations that could create such a virtual space would develop and how they would disappear. Wei junior brother, come with me. The 7-story trial tower in the distance is the place for the trial. Shi Jiang walked ahead and suddenly turned around. By the way, in this virtual space, you can also test your fist power. As long as you shout to the virtual space intelligence system, I want to perform a full force level test, a fist power testing machine will appear out of thin air for testing. Do you want to test your fist power first, or do you want to break through the trial tower first? Let's first venture into the trial tower. Wei Wen looked at the only building in the virtual space, the 7-story trial tower. He knows his own level of fist power, reaching 9.6 times, but in the 7-level trial tower, no one has reached the 7th level, and only Hong, the strongest person on Earth, has reached the 6th level. Which level can he reach? Wei Wen and Shi Jiang arrived at the entrance of the towering and massive trial tower. Wei Wen stood in front of the black stone pillar on the left side of the entrance, and carvings appeared on the black pillar. Name. Wei Wen. Gender. Male identity. Elite Training Camp Student Trial Tower Level 1. Wei junior brother, come on. Shi Jiang smiled and said. Wei Wen took a deep breath and walked directly into the pitch-black entrance ahead. As if there was a spatial transformation, Wei Wen suddenly entered the vast grassland. Wei Wen. The electronic voice echoed through the entire grassland. The first level of the trial tower, Stage A, is for the trial. Your goal is to kill 50 elementary beast-level manatees within 10 minutes. If you die midway, it is a failure. If the number of manatees killed after 10 minutes is less than 50, it is a failure. You have 5 minutes to prepare. Wei Wen's expression was calm, without any nervousness. 5 minutes passed quickly and he began to quickly venture into the trial tower. Wei Wen, congratulations on completing the first stage of the A.stage trial. Next, it's the B.stage trial. Your goal is to kill 100 elementary beast generals level Mangniu within 30 minutes. Congratulations on completing the B.stage trial. The next step is the C.stage trial, with the goal of killing 190 elementary level guardians and 10 medium-sized beast level manatees within 50 minutes. Wei Wen, congratulations on completing the first level trial. Next is the second level A trial of the trial tower. Your goal is to kill 50 elementary beast-level armored scorpions in 10 minutes. The third layer, your goal is to kill the golden vulture. The fourth layer. The fifth layer. Outside the trial room, dozens of students gathered. This newcomer Wei Wen has been in the trial tower assessment for over 3 hours now. After such a long time, it is at least the second floor of the trial tower, and there is even a possibility of breaking through to the third floor. Compared to many elderly people, it is not inferior. He is truly a genius spiritual thinker who is highly regarded by many teachers. I don't know what level this newcomer's ranking will reach after the trial tower assessment is over. Many students have already gone to Black Dragon Carving to wait for the results. It should be close to 100. Although the spiritual mind master has an advantage in hunting monsters, Wei Wen only hunted monsters for 7 days this month, so it's unlikely that he can reach the top 100 in the first month. I can't make it to the top 100 in the first month, no matter how talented Wei Wen is, he won't go anywhere. If Wei Wen wants to compete in the top 100, he must have a very high combat power amplitude even if his record point is not high. However, neither the fist power level, nor the trial tower level, is easy to improve, and many war god teachers only have a trial tower level of just over 3 points. It's almost impossible. Below the giant black dragon sculpture. At this moment, there are many students and teachers standing under the sculpture, curious about the ranking of the genius spirit reciter Wei Wen after the completion of the trial tower. Look, the ranking has changed, and Wei Wen's name has disappeared from its original position. 108, then Wei Wen's name appears in the 108th place. He can't make it to the top 100 anymore, even if he hunts down some monsters this afternoon, he won't be able to improve by a few places. And with the double number students hunting down monsters tomorrow, his ranking will continue to decline, there's no hope. Of course, he made it to nearly 100 in the first month, and Wei Wen is indeed a genius in spiritual thinking. It's probably not long before he can make it to the top 10 or even the top 5. Just as everyone was sighing, a student who was still observing rankings suddenly noticed something and shouted in a sharp voice, "Look at the rankings have changed again, hiss. First, you guys, look, I'm not dizzy. How did I see Wei Wen's name first? Wei Wen, first place. Are you teasing me? Sleeping slot, really first place. How did this happen? Is the system sure there is no error? Be good, this is about to break through the sky. Wow. As Wei Wen's name appeared at the top of the Black Dragon ranking, in addition to the stunned trainees and teachers of the training camp, intelligence personnel close to the training camp quickly transmitted the news to the organizations behind them, and various forces around the world quickly took action. Rushing to the top in the first month is something that has never happened since the opening of the elite training camp. As soon as they arrived, they made it to the top 100. In the history of the training camp, there have been 5 instances where the 5 individuals were all top-notch geniuses. Among them, 4 were already high-level war gods, and 1 person even reached the level of surpassing war gods, becoming a member of parliament. And what height will Wei Wen, who rushed to the top as a newcomer, reach in the future? High God of War, Invincible God of War. Member level. Or can one become like the gods of Hong and Thunder, able to suppress the world on their own? Unimaginable. Everyone knows that Wei Wen is definitely the most talented and dazzling genius in the history of the elite training camp, and also a spiritual thinker. And the competition surrounding this genius is bound to cause a violent shock. The result may even affect the global landscape. Trial room. Wei Wen smiled lightly and took off the blue virtual helmet. I saw 2 big faces appearing in front of him, startling him and saying, "What are you doing?" For over 3 hours, TSK, Wei Wen Jr. brother. It's amazing. Quickly say, what is the level of your trial tower and the level of your fist power output? Zhao Ruo asked eagerly. Shi Jiang also looked at Wei Wen with curiosity, not knowing how Wei Jr. Brother's strength had changed after 10 days of enlightenment. The trial tower level is 5.6, and the fist power output level is 9.6. Wei Wen said as he recalled his previous assessment. He reached the 5th level of the trial tower and passed the B stage, but unfortunately the C stage was too powerful. He hung up as soon as he entered. If it were Wei Wen with a demon body and black clothes, perhaps his performance would be better. His true self prefers to study, but his clone is better at combat. However, even if it's a clone battle, it's probably just about killing more monsters in the C stage, and it's extremely difficult to pass. After all, the Thunder God did not break through to the 6th level of the Trial Tower. What, Trial Tower 5.6, Fist Force 9.6, you're not feverish, are you? Zhao Ruo said as he was about to touch Wei Wen's forehead. If this is true, then isn't your combat power amplitude 53.76, hiss. It's too terrifying, it can't be true. At this moment, the door of the training room was violently knocked on. Shi Jiang walked over to open it and saw a group of people blocking the entrance. Senior Brother Wei Wen, our HR Alliance invites you to join on conditions. I have invited 2 council-level leaders of the mercenary Flame Legion to you, with terms. I invite you to join the Thunderbolt Martial Arts School on the condition that. Hiss. Shi Jiang took a cold breath and turned to look at Wei Wen. Wei Jr. Brother, are you telling the truth? He had never seen so many students before, and there was even a teacher so crazily inviting a student. This situation also indirectly confirms that what Wei Wen said before was not empty talk, but a fact. Trial Tower 5.6, with a fist power output of 9.6, your performance is almost comparable to that of the Thunder God, and your power output is even higher than that of the Thunder God. It's too terrifying. Thor, like their owner, is a unique existence in the world that can easily ravage other legendary characters who surpass the existence of the God of War. Even with Shi Jiang's intermediate-level War God strength, he dare not imagine becoming a powerful existence like the Thunder God, while Wei Wen can to some extent compare to the Thunder God and surpass him in terms of power. How can this not be shocking? At this moment, he suddenly understood why so many people were crazily inviting Wei Jr. Brother. Those 10 days of enlightenment caused Wei Jr. Brother to undergo a great transformation. Once Wei Wen's junior brother grows up, there may not be another legend like their Master Hong or Thunder God. Ladies and gentlemen, I am not planning to accept the invitation at the moment. Please step aside and let us go. Wei Wen stood at the entrance of the trial room and said loudly. Immediately, the crowd left a gap, and Wei Wen and Shi Jiang Zhao Ruo walked out. Jiangnan Pavilion. Shi Jiang and Zhao Ruo are still in shock. Senior Brother Shi Jiang, I saw the reward clause on the student notice. My trial tower level and fist power have met the requirements. How should I apply for the reward? You can apply on the laptop equipped in the training camp. Senior Brother Xie Shi Jiang, I'll go back to my house first to apply for a reward. Leaving Shi Jiang and Zhao Ruo in silence, Wei Wen returned to his study. Application. The next step is to wait for the dragon blood to be delivered. I wonder what level my physical fitness will improve after using 2 copies of dragon blood. Although Wei Wen has achieved impressive results, he is not arrogant. I won't forget his goal, 2 doses of dragon blood, even if the effect weakens, not to mention upgrading to the intermediate level of War God, can still strengthen my body to the junior level of War God, and reach a higher level of War God's spiritual and mental power. With Invincible War God strength, I can explore Mist Island in mainland Australia. Mist Island after the Great Nirvana period, in order to attract human powerhouses, Babata not only threw a Moyun vine that had absorbed 3 wood crystals to start growing, but also powdered 2 wood crystals for some plants to absorb, forming the spirit of plants. Wei Wen looked forward and thought to himself, the original work of Mo Yunteng was taken away by Hong, but those spirits of plants and trees are enough to elevate my physical fitness to the peak of the advanced god of war, even if they cannot make me break through the star level. With nearly 10 times the force, even if my spiritual and mental abilities do not immediately break through to the planet level, I can still have ordinary strength that surpasses the existence of the god of war. Virtual space, inside a large conference hall. A huge silver round table and 6 pure black chairs. On 5 of the chairs sat 5 white-robed people, 3 Huaxia people, 1 white person, and 1 black person. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Wei Wen's information. His trial tower level is 5.6, and his full force level is 9.6, which means his combat power amplitude is 53.76. So, even with a low record point, relying on the terrifying power amplitude, Wei Wen's ranking still surged to first place. A moment of silence. This combat power amplitude value not only far exceeds the standard of 8.16 for excellent trainees in the training camp, but even higher than their combat power amplitude. Demon. A white-robed inspector couldn't help but blurt out his debut. Others nodded in agreement. This is a terrifying talent compared to their museum owner and thunder god. For a moment, they didn't know how to treat Wei Wen. Wei Wen submitted a reward clause application in the background, and I have reported it to the museum owner. I think a decision will be made soon. 5 inspectors. An electronic sound sounded. 5 inspectors looked up at the sky. The reward terms will be fully implemented and immediately executed by Inspector Wang. In addition, the Master has new cultivation insights. During this period, you must ensure that Wei Wen students are not attracted by other forces. After the Master's cultivation is completed, the Master will come to the training camp to meet with Wei Wen students. This is the decision of the museum owner to handle the issue of Wei Wen. If you have any opinions, you can leave a message to the museum owner. If you have no opinions, please implement this decision. Do you have any opinions? No. X55 inspectors quickly answered. But secretly, he was shocked that the owner of the museum was going to meet Wei Wen. However, with Wei Wen's terrifying talent, it is also appropriate to do so. Obviously, another arrogant person is about to rise. The backend has received the signing information and is waiting for review. I don't know when to change the status. Book friends who want to invest should hurry up. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Invincible God of War Strength. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9 Invincible God of War Strength. On the afternoon of July 27th, the second-floor reception room of a quiet villa with the style of ancient Chinese Tang Dynasty villas. Amidst the faint yet soothing aroma of tea, a lean man sat cross-legged. This skinny man with a mustache, looking almost 40 years old at first glance, is closing his eyes and playing with the Buddha beads with one hand. I've seen Inspector Wang. Wei Wen bowed slightly. The skinny man opened his eyes and was stared at by him. Wei Wen only felt an invisible pressure overwhelming him. Wei Wen held his breath and instantly entered the realm of saints, maintaining the clarity of the Ling Tai, unaffected by the imposing aura of the Wang inspector. You are truly the pride of heaven with a combat power amplitude exceeding 50, sit down. Inspector Wang pointed across the table with one hand. There were no chairs in the reception room, and Wei Wen sat cross-legged on the ground with this Wang inspector. Wei Wen, you are a genius, very talented. Since the Great Nirvana, I have seen many talented people. They have the top of the God of War, Invincible God of War, and some planetary level, that is, member-level powerhouses. However, their talents did not surprise me. But you, on the other hand, rushed to the top position in the first month of the God of War preparatory camp, with a combat power amplitude of over 50, which is a height that only the God of Thunder and our Master Hong can reach. Inspector Wang stopped playing with the Buddha beads and exclaimed. Lucky. Wei Wenqian smiled humbly. Inspector Wang shook his head and said, this is your talent. Speaking of which, there is one more thing. Before the training camp, I contacted an intermediate war god level spiritual teacher for you. I had planned to wait for him to handle the matter and come over next month to teach you the cultivation of spiritual teachers. However, I didn't expect that you would rush to the top of the Black Dragon ranking this month, and that war god teacher politely refused. Wei Wen remained speechless. It was not his fault that he was too talented. And his time is actually very tight. There are many things to do, such as studying life genes, cultivating and comprehending fields, trying to step into the threshold of the origin of laws, and comprehending the subtle laws of the origin. It is impossible to slow down his cultivation pace, and he needs to break through to the planet level as soon as possible. The main purpose of this meeting is to distribute reward terms and rewards to you. Inspector Wang stopped chatting and got to the point. He looked at the two large password boxes next to the table. That password box is the same model that Wei Wen signed for when he entered the training camp recently, but the model is much larger. Wei Wen's eyes lit up and his heart was filled with anticipation. Is there 2 portions of dragon blood in the box? As for the rest, he didn't pay much attention. He needs dragon blood to improve his strength now. Inspector Wang pointed to 2 password boxes and said, the first box contains a reward of fist power level 6. Worth 80 billion yuan of dragon blood, SS level combat uniforms, and a complete set of weapons. All in the box. The second box contains rewards for trial tower level 5. There is a set of dragon blood, SS level combat suit, complete weapons, and a set of ancient civilization relics Black God inside. You should have read the information about Black God. Wei Wen nodded. After he submitted the reward terms application, he received the relevant information. However, even without information, he knows the effect of the Black God set produced by ancient civilization relics. That is a treasure that, once recognized as the Lord, can transform and envelop the whole body, with extremely strong defense. In the original work, Li Yao survived several times under Luo Feng's command with the help of the Black God suit. In addition, you can also freely choose from 3 complete sets of secret books. For this, Wei Wen doesn't pay much attention. Currently, there are only 2 sets of ultimate secrets on Earth, one of which is the Thunder God's 9-fold Thunder Knife, which he had already obtained before. The other one is Hong's marksmanship annihilation. However, he does not use a long gun and currently does not intend to spend time studying marksmanship. Moreover, he had previously created a set of stacking waves and patching the empty palm. Although the accompanying guidance techniques are not yet perfect, they can still be considered as ultimate secrets. There is no need to learn other people's secrets, it's better to deduce and delve deeper on your own. Inspector Wang continued, as for the promise of the reward clause for the position of inspector in our extreme martial arts school, it may need to wait for the owner to grant it. The ultimate martial arts school will automatically grant the position of inspector to the warriors who have reached the level of counselor, also known as planet. And Wei Wen, although everyone believes he will become a member of parliament and break through to the star level, is currently not a planetary level existence. Although the position of inspector is promised due to the reward terms, only the authority of the Master Hong can convince the strong members of the extreme martial arts school to truly obtain the position of inspector with less than planetary level strength. This is very realistic and did not surprise Wei Wen. But next, Wei Wen widened his eyes in surprise. The master is currently practicing, but I have heard about you, especially since your combat power amplitude exceeds 50. The master has decided to meet you at the training camp after completing the training. Master, Hong, you want to see me? Wei Wen was somewhat unprepared. He originally thought that the first time he met Hong would probably be after he broke through to the star level. Before that, they should not have easily intersected. Unexpectedly, he would soon be able to meet the legendary figure, Hong. Hong in the original work was an assassin before the Great Nirvana period, quickly rising to become the strongest human. Later, he teamed up with Thor and negotiated with the Ocean Beast Emperor to support the Earth humans after the Great Nirvana period. Afterwards, although due to the rise of Luo Feng, he was no longer the strongest in the Earth's lineage, his strength steadily improved and eventually broke through to the strongest in the universe, which is the true god level. If it weren't for Luo Feng, Hong would be the most dazzling existence on Earth. Of course, if it weren't for Luo Feng, Hong might have obtained the 9 Calamities secret scripture, and gone to the battlefield outside the domain to recognize the Star Tower. However, referring to the first 2 failed candidates and Luo Feng's successful example, Hong's inclusive mindset may not be able to undergo pressure and transformation. Without the possibility of successful recognition, he will fall in the recognition process. Anyway, Hong is a highly legendary existence. Wei Wen was also extremely looking forward to meeting Hong. Sorry, I heard that the museum owner saw me and I'm a bit excited. After a moment, Wei Wen calmed down and said with embarrassment. This is very normal. When I first met the owner, I was also excited for a long time. Inspector Wang was not surprised. They, the older generation, found it difficult to calm down when they saw Hong, not to mention the young people who grew up listening to the owner's legendary story after the Great Nirvana. Wei Wen, once you confirm the 3 sets of secret scripts, you will be given them to you again, and the rewards in the reward terms will be almost all given to you. After completing the task assigned by the master, Inspector Wang did not ask Wei Wen to leave. Still looking at Wei Wen, it seemed like there was something to say. Inspector Wang, is there anything else? Wei Wen urgently went back to use dragon blood to improve his physical fitness and strength, without beating around the bush, and asked directly. Well, Wei Wen, I heard that you had an epiphany for 10 days before, and as soon as you returned to the training camp for the trial tower assessment, your combat power amplitude exceeded 50. Do you have any insights? Could you please let me know? Inspector Wang looked at Wei Wen with a bright and hopeful gaze. On Earth, before the planetary level, the cultivation speed was very fast, and there were many treasures and resources to help with cultivation. However, once the star level is exceeded, the progress is extremely slow, and most treasures have little effect on the star level, so one can only rely on their own little cultivation. At the beginning of the Great Nirvana, Hong and the God of Thunder broke through to the rank of Xingxing, but now they are only at the 6th or 7th level of Xingxing. This is still a situation where the two occupy a lot of treasure resources. Other ordinary legislators, after breaking through to the planetary level, did not show much improvement in strength. There are only those 2 sets of ultimate secrets that can enhance combat power. Those who have met in recent years will know them, and those who do not will not be able to practice them again. And Wei Wen suddenly emerged, displaying a super high combat power amplitude comparable to the 2 museum owners, which is difficult not to doubt. Is it possible that they have created another set of ultimate secrets? If there are new ultimate secrets, perhaps many people will benefit and their combat power will be greatly enhanced. Inspector Wang's gaze was too eager, and Wei Wen quietly moved back. It's fortunate to have encountered a treasure trove, and luckily entered an epiphany state. Eventually, I accidentally created a set of palm techniques, which is why the amplitude of combat power reached such a level. Unfortunately, that treasure trove also exploded on my epiphany journey. Recalling the disappearing island in the heart of Xinxin Lake, Wei Wen still felt a pity. If it hasn't sunk, perhaps you can continue to watch and feel the meaning of the rules, and deepen the palm technique deduction. Palm technique. Inspector Wang's gaze became even brighter. If there is still a saying that weapons are not used to or not good at, but palm techniques are human body parts, and martial artists, especially powerful ones, have achieved a very high degree of control over their bodies. If this palm technique really reaches the height of the ultimate secret script, it will definitely be more popular than Ninefold Thunderblade and Annihilation. Wei Wen, I'm not sure if it's convenient to disclose your palm technique. Don't worry, our extreme martial arts school will definitely give you a very high bonus. As long as the secret script level is extremely high, you can earn a huge amount of wealth by sharing the copyright. I intended to publish it for everyone's reference, but it has just been created and I have not yet perfected other supporting techniques such as guidance and body movements. I plan to consult with the museum owner to improve them before publishing it again after meeting them in the future. Wei Wen had a plan for a long time. Although the earth has the support of the gods Hong Lei, He and Luo Feng, they also need successors. Although it is difficult to cultivate a presence like theirs. However, if not cultivated, it is absolutely impossible to appear. Then I'll wait to comprehend your ultimate skill. Inspector Wang chuckled, come on, have some tea. By the way, Inspector Wang, is there a life and death adventure mission at the August training camp? Is it going to mainland Australia? Wei Wen put down his tea cup and looked at Inspector Wang. After using 2 doses of dragon blood, his physical fitness will probably improve to the top or middle level of the primary god of war, and his spiritual and mental abilities will inevitably reach the peak of the god of war. He can go to explore the Mist Island in mainland Australia and search for the spirit of grass and trees. It's indeed on the Australian mainland. Why, do you want to go? I heard that there are many types of monsters in mainland Australia, and there are many mutated monsters. I want to see them. Wei Wen smiled foolishly and gave a reason. Young man, but having more knowledge is also good. Moreover, as long as you are careful, there won't be any danger when you recognize the owner of the reward black god suit later. Inspector Wang is not worried about Wei Wen's accidents. On Earth, as long as there is a set of black god suits, life safety is greatly guaranteed. Subsequently, Wei Wen bid farewell and left, and Inspector Wang also sent someone to help Wei Wen deliver the 2 large password boxes to his residence. On the way back, Wei Wen encountered many students who wanted to invite and win over him, causing him a lot of trouble. Returning to Jiangnan Pavilion, Wei Wen asked senior brother Shi Jiang and senior sister Zhao Ruo to help him refuse all invitations except for those from the Chinese side. Then, he quickly walked into the underground secret room of the residence. Dragon blood can be used later, take a look at the Black God set first. Wei Wen took out a pure white plastic box measuring 20 centimeters in length and width from the large password box, and stored the Black God suit inside. Wei Wen looked at the instructions of the Black God suit and said, as long as you wear it on your body, it will automatically penetrate your skin, absorb fresh blood, and then undergo some mutations, making the entire Black God suit very compatible with your body, just like your skin, and completely changing according to your heart. Open the plastic packaging box, inside is a black ring, just like an equipment ring in a game. Wei Wen picked up the ring with a smile and recognized the owner. About 15 minutes later, the recognition was successful. Brush. The black ring quickly spread out and instantly extended to cover Wei Wen's entire body. The interior of the clothes is covered with a layer of black skin, even the face turns black, with only the eyes, nose, and mouth exposed. Subsequently, Wei Wen made a change in the Black God suit, and all clothing, accessories, and fashion could be transformed. After playing for a while, I put away the Black God suit. It's time to use dragon blood. Taking out 2 tubes of dragon blood from the password box, Wei Wen, who had already used dragon blood once, applied it with experience and began another round of reinforcement. With the strengthening of dragon blood, Wei Wenhao's vast sea of consciousness was rapidly and fully unleashing his immense spiritual and mental power. In the endless sea of consciousness, massive spiritual and mental energy converges into a turbulent liquid flow, flowing like the Milky Way in the sea of consciousness. The spiritual and mental energy contained in it is simply astonishing. On the morning of July 28, it was drizzling lightly. Wei Wen woke up from the sound of rain hitting the leaves. Last night, I used 2 doses of dragon blood consecutively. I wonder to what extent my physical fitness has improved. Boom. He swung a punch and instantly made an air burst sound. Bang. Wei Wen slammed his fist into the nearby alloy wall, causing his fist to sink in half, leaving a clear punch mark on the alloy wall. This definitely has the level of a god of war. Wei Wen exclaimed happily. As for more accurate fist strength data, a fist strength testing machine is needed for testing. After washing away the strengthened black dirt in the bathroom, Wei Wen walked towards the Jiuchong building in the center of the training camp. Entering an unmanned martial arts training hall, he stood in front of a punch strength testing machine. Humph. Wei Wen took a deep breath and his footsteps suddenly exerted force. With a slight turn of his body, a powerful force burst out from his waist and hips, instantly piercing through his arms step by step. I saw his fist as if it were an arrow shot from a full moon bow, with a lingering shadow. With a loud bang, his fist had already hit the target heavily. The fist target shook violently, and a numerical value suddenly appeared on the display screen. 150,000 kilograms. A fist power of 150,000 kilograms belongs to the intermediate level physical fitness of 128,000 kilograms to 256,000 kilograms, and the spiritual and mental power has reached the peak of the advanced level god of war. Not bad either. Wei Wen was slightly disappointed. Obviously, the strengthening effect behind dragon blood is becoming weaker and weaker. However, there will be better treasures than dragon blood in the future. Intermediate war god's physical fitness, high level of spiritual awareness, and pinnacle of war god, coupled with the black god suit, Wei Wen is definitely the pinnacle of invincible war gods. Even ordinary planetary level players who want to take action against Wei Wen may not be able to defeat him. As Wei Wen's spiritual minder, even if defeated, one can change the black god suit and burrow into the underground. Once inside, the spiritual minder has a great advantage. There are fewer and fewer entities on Earth that can threaten Wei Wen's life, and the day when Wei Wen rises is getting closer and closer. Today's update is sent to O******, end of this chapter. Chapter 10. Australia, Mist Island, Muyajing. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10 Australia, Mist Island, Muyajing on August 1, 2056, at 10 o'clock a.m., on a passenger plane bound for mainland Australia. The entire flying aircraft was completely covered by the training camp, with over 180 students and more than 10 war god teachers leading the team on the upper, middle, and lower floors, providing ample space. Movies are playing in each cabin, making the journey for many students not very boring. Wei Wen, Shi and Zhao Ruo are together in the middle cabin. Shi suddenly said, "It is said that before the Great Nirvana, there were also millions of people living on the Australian continent. However, after the Great Nirvana, although the Australian continent has a larger area and an extremely vast hinterland than other island countries, it is isolated from other continents in the world, and because there are many types and numbers of animals, there are also a lot of monsters. Not only are there many types, but also hybrid mutations, many extremely terrifying monster populations have emerged, and even many king-level monsters have emerged. This Australian continent has also become like many island countries, quickly falling and not suitable for human survival. The entire continent is the home of monsters. Nowadays, it is also known as the world's 3 largest along with the Sahara in Africa and the Amazon in South America. Danger. Shi suddenly mentioned the museum owner Hong again. The museum owner is like a deity. There was a hint of reverence in his eyes, as well as a strange color, just like a fanatical fan chasing stars. During the Great Nirvana period, the owner of the museum emerged and quickly became a transcendent existence beyond the god of war, supporting humanity. It was also the collaboration with the god of thunder to force the beast emperor in the ocean to sign a contract, which gave us the current era of Base City. If not, even if we could repel the attacks of monsters on land, we would not be able to resist the endless tide of beasts from the ocean. In today's era, it is already a good result for humans to live safely in base cities, but can this be satisfied? Compared to the vast wilderness, base cities with densely packed tube buildings on the ground and urban defense systems at high altitudes are more like cages that imprison humans. Shi Jiang sighed and his gaze flickered with memories. When I was a child, I often heard my grandfather mention that before the Great Nirvana, even ordinary people could travel freely, go out and play, go hiking in spring, play in the water in summer, harvest in autumn, and make snowmen in winter. My parents were not very old when they were in the Great Nirvana, but they had already remembered many times. They had told us how wide the world was in their memory, how blue and vast the sky was, and my grandfather often missed the apple tree he planted in the yard and wanted to taste the taste of that apple again. But if the monsters are not completely suppressed for a day, humans can only live in cramped base cities. Senior brother Shi Jiang. Wei Wen and Zhao Ruo didn't know why Shi Jiang suddenly became so emotional. Senior brother Shi Jiang, practice well. When we grow up, we will definitely be able to suppress the monsters and then raise them in captivity, just like the animals in the zoo before the Great Nirvana. Put the monsters in the zoo for people to watch. Wei Wen stretched his fist and laughed. Well put, this is the goal of our martial artists, to reclaim vast and fertile lands from the hands of monsters, and people should live freely on the land. Shi Jiang and Wei Wen clashed their fists, full of arrogance. If one day comes, I will retire from the military and become a kindergarten teacher. Children are the cutest creatures in the world, and I love children the most. Zhao Ruo looked at Shi Jiang and said. Don't worry, there will be one day, and it won't be long. Wei Wen said confidently. Not to mention in the original work, after the fierce battle between Luo Feng and the Golden Horn monster woke up, the Earth monster could not withstand any storms. Now there is his presence, and with him as a prophetic and wise traveler, perhaps humans don't have to wait until then to suppress monsters and regain the fertile land of the wilderness. After another 5 hours, the plane landed, the cabin doors opened, and many students and war teachers from the upper, middle, and lower floors quickly stepped out of the flying passenger plane one by one. As soon as he came out, Wei Wen felt his vision was broad. This is a vast area of yellow apes covered in green, with abundant vegetation. In the distance, you can vaguely see the shadows of some monsters, but there is no trace of human architecture. Nearly 40 years have passed since the era before the Great Nirvana, and it has been 40 years since humans left fertile soil and entered the city of Al-Qaeda. Wei Wen frowned. When he had enough strength, he ignored the original plot and suppressed the monster. Humans should live happily on the earth. Children deserve to run carefree in the fields. A black war god teacher spoke Chinese loudly. All students, please remember the detailed coordinates of your current location through your communication watch. It is now 3:15 p.m. on August 1, 2056, and your mission is to live in mainland Australia for 28 days. Our flight will pick up all students from this location at noon on the 29th to return to the city of Hongning Base. Now, your life and death adventure has officially begun. I hope to see all of you come back when the mission ends. Afterwards, all the war god teachers quickly returned to the flying passenger plane, which slowly took off and then turned into a blue light, disappearing at the end of the sky. On the wilderness, there are only over 180 students left. The students gathered in groups of 3 or 5, wanting to form a team to complete a life and death adventure mission. Living alone in mainland Australia for 28 days is definitely an extremely difficult task to accomplish. In the training camp, perhaps only those in the top 20, or even the top 10 or 5, are qualified to travel alone. However, if one is unlucky, they may also die silently. So, teaming up with strong individuals and multiple people is the best way to overcome life and death adventures. Ranked first in July, although it is unclear what his true strength is, Wei Wen, who possesses the power of intermediate-level god of war and is a rare spiritual thinker, is extremely popular and highly invited by many students. But Wei Wen came to the Australian mainland, but those who wanted to explore Foggy Island and seek the spirit of plants and trees refused one by one. He also politely declined the collaboration between Shi Jiang and Zhao Ruo, carrying a backpack, shield, blood shadow battle knife, and 18 flying knives on his back. Strolling in the endless wilderness. After leaving the student team, Wei Wen immediately looked at the communication watch on his wrist and retrieved satellite maps of the surrounding area. I met a heart-shaking lake with the meaning of laws in City 1001 before, and after 10 days of enlightenment on the island in the center of the lake, I created a set of palm techniques with 9.6 times the force. Let me see what big lakes on the Australian continent can help me enter enlightenment again. Even if not, finding a suitable place to continue practicing palm techniques is still a good idea. But in my heart, there is a secret way Mist Island. Where is Mist Island? In the original work, Luo Feng chose a large lake through satellite maps that was not conducive to the laser cannon's performance in order to avoid it. The lake was located nearly 100 miles away, and there was also an island in the center of the lake that was 20 to 30 miles away. This island is called Wudao. There are definitely not many large lakes that meet the conditions, including a lake that is nearly 100 miles long and an island in the center of the lake that is 20.30 miles away. It should be easy to find. Moreover, Luo Feng traveled nearly 300 kilometers along a river from a kilometer-high mountain in the central hinterland of the Australian continent to the Great Lake where Mist Island is located. Summarizing these conditions, Wei Wen quickly found a large lake that met the conditions very well, suspected to be the location of Wudao. However, that Great Lake is located in the hinterland of mainland Australia, and if he went straight there, it might raise suspicion. Moreover, he couldn't forget that the spirit of grass and trees on Mist Island was not without resistance. Especially the Super Willow King, with strong strength. He also needs to fight more and become familiar with the improved strength. As previously stated on the surface, exploring one big lake after another can provide both combat experience and reasonable access to the location of Wudao. Wei Wen silently thought to himself. Immediately, Wei Wen followed the satellite map and advanced towards the central hinterland. On August 7th, in the hinterland of mainland Australia, Wei Wen is standing on the outskirts of the lake, which is suspected to be the location of Wudao. The lake is filled with vast soup, and sometimes strange sounds come from the bottom of the water. Wei Wen stepped on a shield and suspended on the surface of the lake, looking towards the center of the lake from afar. He saw that the lake ahead was completely shrouded in endless thick fog, and the deeper it went into the center of the lake, the thicker the fog became. Even with his eyesight exceeding 200 meters, it is difficult to see clearly. And this eerie mist is very faint at the edge of the lake, and there is no mist at all on the nearby shore. It's here, Mist Island must be here. Wei Wen was secretly excited. Brush. The Black God set photo covered the whole body, wearing an SS-level combat suit with reward clauses inside. With layers of protection, Wei Wen stepped on a shield and flew towards the foggy island in the center of the lake. Stepping on the shield, Wei Wen dodged the long electric eel-like aquatic monster that could generate electricity, the fierce aquatic monster, the 100-meter-long dragon. And finally landed on a beach on Misty Island. Mist Island is like a primitive forest, with numerous thick and sturdy trees and lush vegetation, shrouded in mist all year round. It was very quiet, and Wei Wen felt a faint palpitations in his heart. This eerie island is undoubtedly Misty Island. Wei Wen held a shield, his spirit reached its peak, and the flying knife was always ready, so cautiously entering the Misty Island after killing the mutated cannibal flower and walking for about half an hour, Wei Wen saw a willow tree in his sight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A total of 9 willow trees. Wei Wen was taken aback and immediately overjoyed. This is the spirit of the 9 willow trees and plants in the original work. These 9 willow trees are very sturdy, and the thinnest one has a diameter of about 1 meter. The thickest Super Willow King has a diameter of 3 meters. The thousands of branches of 9 willow trees sway gently with the gentle breeze, like a poetic painting, exquisite yet harmless. But Wei Wen knew that these willow trees were not as harmless as they seemed to be to humans and animals. Once they approached the range of willow branches, billions of them would fly wildly, entangle and launch attacks. If one is accidentally wrapped in thousands of branches, there will definitely be no life or death. Wei Wen observed these 9 willow trees from a distance. This super willow king's eternal willow heart doesn't know if it can make my warrior break through to the star level. He muttered to himself that at least 1,000 years of willow heart cannot achieve it. Relying solely on the willow heart, I don't know if these 8,000-year-old willow hearts plus one 10,000-year-old willow heart can break through. If there is a wooden crystal, it will be easier. In the original work, a medium-sized Lord-level Earth Dragon monster swallowed a wooden crystal and quickly transformed into a king-level monster, also known as a planet-level monster. Later, it was also mentioned that Muyajing can help apprentices of 8th and 9th level martial artists transform into Xingxing stars within a month. And he is an intermediate war god, also known as an apprentice 8th level warrior. That is to say, if he can obtain a wooden Yajing, perhaps by the end of this month, he can become a planetary level warrior. The range of this foggy island should be within the scanning range of Babata. I don't know how wide my brain is, has it been detected by Babata? Wei Wen was curious in his heart. And at a depth of over 15,000 meters and nearly 16,000 kilometers underground, Babata is also puzzled. Judging from the performance of this human on this small island, he should be a spiritual master of the 9th level apprentice, able to cultivate the spiritual master to the 9th level apprentice on Earth. Moreover, he is so young that his brain breadth should not be low, but how can his brain breadth not be detected? Can we say it's because we're too far away? It's also possible that humans are a bit special. After all, the universe is vast and anything can happen. The owner of Meteorite also said that they should have a reverence for the universe. Finally, Babata decided to take the human to a close range to see if he could detect the breadth of the brain. He really wants to select a talented inheritor for his master, but he has been waiting too long. I hope you won't disappoint me. Babata threw 2 wooden crystals towards the ground. On the ground, the pale golden willow branches were flying everywhere. Wei Wen cut off nearly 100 pale golden willow branches and retreated from the attack range of the Super Willow King. Difficult to handle. Wei Wen frowned. If you don't attack the Super Willow King, don't think about obtaining the 8 Millennium Willow Hearts next to you, and if you attack the Super Willow King, you won't be able to win it for a while. It seems we can only grind it slowly. What's the smell? Wei Wen's nose twitched, and he vaguely smelled a refreshing fragrance. It's like the aroma of rice, so fragrant. I really want to eat it. After speaking, Wei Wen was stunned. Muyajing, it must be Muyajing. Wei Wen no longer attacked the spirits of willows, plants, and trees. Smelling the fragrance, he approached them. Quickly, he discovered 2 white translucent crystals at a spring. The crystal was suspended in mid-air, emitting a faint light. This white transparent crystal still emits waves of rice fragrance. Gollum. Wei Wen swallowed his saliva, feeling an urge to swallow these 2 crystals in one gulp. This is definitely Muyajing. Treasure. Wei Wen waved his hand directly, and his intangible spiritual power was like a big hand quickly rolling back the 2 wooden crystals above the spring water. I don't know when the monster guarding this treasure will come back, hurry up and leave. Wei Wen whispered and then rose up with a shield. Leaving only the underground Babata there, dumbfounded and messy, and Wei Wen, who had obtained 2 wooden crystals, flew out of the Mist Island, out of the Great Lake, and found a safe mountain peak. He quickly dug out a cave with a blood shadow knife and hid inside. Babata is grand, throwing out 2 wooden crystals at once. Can you say that my brain has a high breadth? Wei Wen shook his head and threw out distractions, quickly paying attention to the 2 wooden Yajing. Get 2 wood sprout crystals at once, and not only can my master quickly break through to the rank of star. Wei Wen, the clone of the demon god in black, can also use Muyajing to break through the star level as long as his physical fitness is improved to the 8th level of the intermediate war god apprentice. That is to say, he will soon have 2-star rated combat abilities, each with the highest strength on Earth today. At the same time, he will awaken the special abilities of the warrior, and I don't know what his special abilities will be. Thank you for the support of the White Hair Blood Demon Blood E Cold Month ticket. Wei Wen, the original deity, decided to have a soil attribute, while Wei Wen, the demon god clone in black, decided to have a light attribute. End of this chapter.